The morning sky above Azure Guardian City glowed with pale gold, as countless guardian beasts circled the towering walls. Massive winged lions patrolled beside armored griffins. Stone-backed tortoises carried supply caravans larger than houses. Elegant frost cranes drifted across the clouds like floating snowflakes. Every child in the city had dreamed of this day, Awakening Day, the day their futures would be decided. Outside Azure Guardian Academy, thousands of families gathered around the enormous Awakening Plaza. Excitement, anxiety, pride, and fear blended into a restless sea of voices. Some parents smiled confidently. Others prayed silently. Every 16-year-old wore the same Silver Academy uniform. Only one thing would separate them after today: their guardian beast. Lin Yuan stood quietly near the back of his class. Unlike the students loudly boasting about legendary bloodlines and powerful beasts, he simply watched the plaza. His expression was calm. His hands, however, were tightly clasped behind his back. A familiar voice interrupted his thoughts. "You don't look nervous." Lin Yuan turned. Master Gu stood beside him without making a sound. The elderly instructor's ironback tortoise rested peacefully nearby, its enormous shell worn smooth by countless years of battle. Lin Yuan smiled politely. "I am." Master Gu nodded. "Good." Lin Yuan blinked. "I expected you to tell me not to be. If you aren't nervous before your life changes forever, then you don't understand how important today is." The old instructor looked toward the awakening platform. "But don't mistake your guardian beast for your destiny." Lin Yuan remembered those words. He would remember them for the rest of his life. A great bell echoed throughout the academy. The ceremony had begun. One by one, students stepped onto the circular platform. Blue light surrounded each teenager before bursting outward. Cheers erupted repeatedly. A steel rhino, a thunder falcon, a crystal serpent. Parents celebrated. Teachers applauded. The academy scribes rapidly recorded every successful awakening. Then came Han Lai. The confident young man strode onto the platform wearing a victorious smile before the ritual had even begun. The awakening crystal exploded with crimson light. A mighty lion emerged from the flames. Its scarlet mane burned like living fire. Its roar shook the entire plaza. The crowd erupted. A crimson flame lion, sovereign-grade potential, outstanding! Han Lai laughed proudly as his lion stood beside him, taller than a horse despite having been born only seconds earlier. His eyes swept across the other students. Confidence had become certainty. Several awakenings later, another wave of astonishment spread across the audience. Mei Xue, a graceful bird of ice, unfolded crystalline wings that shimmered beneath the morning sun. Snowflakes drifted gently through warm summer air. A frost phoenix. Even the academy principal rose from his seat. Two exceptional guardian beasts had appeared in one ceremony. Azure Guardian Academy would become famous across the province. The line slowly shortened. Finally, Lin Yuan. The plaza grew quiet. Lin Yuan climbed the steps without hesitation. He placed both hands upon the awakening crystal. Warm energy flowed through his body. The crystal glowed. For one hopeful second, the light dimmed. Students frowned. Teachers exchanged confused looks. The crystal flickered weakly before producing a tiny puff of white smoke. Something soft landed on Lin Yuan's head. "Mao, silence." A tiny kitten slowly crawled forward until it sat on top of his hair. Dirty, white fur, gray patches, one torn ear. Golden eyes. It looked around lazily before yawning. Someone laughed. Then another. Within seconds, the entire plaza exploded with laughter. "A cat? No, it's just a stray. I've seen dozens exactly like it near the market. Is that even a guardian beast? It can't even hunt mice." Han Lai covered his mouth while laughing openly. "Maybe it'll scratch someone's shoes." Even some instructors struggled to hide disappointed expressions. An academy examiner carefully checked the awakening crystal again. Then again. Finally he announced, "Guardian Beast classification." He hesitated. "Unknown stray cat." Another pause. "Initial rank." He frowned. "Lowest." The words struck the plaza harder than any roar. Lowest rank, not low rank. Not common rank. Lowest. The first ever officially recorded lowest rank guardian beast. The laughter became louder. Lin Yuan looked at the tiny kitten. The kitten looked back. Instead of appearing frightened, it gently rubbed its tiny head against his cheek. "Meow." Its voice was soft, warm, trusting. For reasons he couldn't explain, Lin Yuan smiled. He carefully lifted the kitten into his hands. "It's all right." The kitten purred. Han Lai shook his head. What a waste of an awakening. Nearby students nodded in agreement. Lin Yuan heard every word. He answered none of them. As he stepped down from the platform, Master Gu quietly watched both the boy and the tiny cat. Unlike everyone else, he wasn't looking at their appearance. He was watching the kitten's eyes. For a brief instant, the old instructor thought he saw ancient golden symbols flash deep within them. The moment vanished. Interesting. No one heard him. The ceremony continued. But Lin Yuan barely noticed. His classmates celebrated their powerful companions. Photographs filled the plaza. Families embraced. Teachers congratulated promising students. Lin Yuan sat alone beneath an old academy tree. The tiny kitten curled into a ball on his lap. It fell asleep almost instantly. Lin Yuan gently stroked its dusty fur. I guess it's just us now. The kitten answered with a sleepy purr. For the first time since the ceremony, Lin Yuan laughed. It wasn't bitter. It wasn't forced. It was simply the sound of someone accepting reality. No matter how weak the world believed this little creature to be, it was his partner. And he had already decided he would never abandon it. The afternoon sun hung low above Azure Guardian Academy as students dispersed across the sprawling campus. Groups gathered around newly awakened guardian beasts. Thunder falcons stretched their wings across training fields. Stone bears wrestled playfully with their masters. Even the smallest beasts attracted curious classmates. Only one corner of the academy remained empty. Lin Yuan walked quietly along a narrow stone path leading toward the first-year dormitories. Mochi slept peacefully on his shoulder, completely unaware of the whispers following them. There he goes, the boy with the stray cat. I still can't believe the academy accepted that thing. I heard even ordinary hunting dogs are stronger. Lin Yuan kept walking. Responding would change nothing. The academy had judged him before he had taken a single lesson. A familiar scent drifted through the breeze. Freshly grilled fish. Mochi's tiny nose twitched. One golden eye slowly opened. Meow! The kitten lifted its head, sniffed twice, then stared directly toward the academy cafeteria. Lin Yuan smiled despite himself. Hungry already? Mochi answered by climbing onto his head and staring in the direction of the smell with complete concentration. Its tiny tail stood perfectly straight. So that's a yes. A few minutes later they entered the bustling cafeteria. The room overflowed with excited conversation. Students proudly introduced their guardian beasts to one another while discussing future training plans. Lin Yuan quietly collected a simple meal before finding an empty table near the window. The moment he sat down, Mochi jumped onto the table. Its attention ignored the rice, ignored the vegetables, ignored everything except the small grilled fish beside the bowl. You have excellent priorities. Mochi reached forward. Lin Yuan gently stopped the tiny paw. Too hot. The kitten looked at him, then at the fish, then back at him. Its ears drooped dramatically. Lin Yuan laughed. You'll survive another minute, several nearby students noticed. One snorted. Even the cat looks weak. Another shook his head. It probably can't even catch its own dinner. Mochi finally received permission. It grabbed the grilled fish with both tiny paws and began eating with astonishing enthusiasm. Grease covered its whiskers within seconds. Lin Yuan couldn't help smiling again. For a creature supposedly destined to change his life, it certainly behaved like an ordinary stray. Halfway through the meal, Mochi suddenly froze. Its ears turned toward the far side of the cafeteria. Several small birds had landed outside the open window. They pecked happily at scattered crumbs. Mochi's golden eyes narrowed. Without warning, it leaped onto the windowsill. Wait. Too late. The kitten disappeared outside. Lin Yuan hurried after it. Instead of chasing the birds, Mochi quietly crept closer. Its movements became strangely graceful, almost silent. The nearest sparrow tilted its head. For just a heartbeat, its eyes seemed to lose focus. A tiny golden shimmer, so faint it was almost invisible, drifted from the bird toward Mochi like a floating thread. The kitten blinked. The shimmer vanished into its body. The bird shook itself, chirped normally, and flew away with the rest of the flock. Mochi simply sat there. Meow. Lin Yuan frowned. What was that? The kitten looked completely innocent. Perhaps he had imagined it. Just then, a loud crash echoed from behind him. Someone shouted. Lin Yuan turned instinctively. A cafeteria worker had dropped an enormous tray carrying dozens of bowls. The metal rack tipped toward a little girl standing nearby. Without thinking, Lin Yuan rushed forward. The rack should have struck her. Instead, one wheel suddenly caught against a crack in the stone floor. Its fall slowed just enough. Lin Yuan reached the child and pulled her safely aside. The heavy rack crashed harmlessly onto the empty ground. Bowls shattered across the floor. The room fell silent. The cafeteria worker's face had turned completely pale. I thought... He couldn't finish the sentence. The little girl clung to her older brother, still trembling. Lin Yuan looked back toward the window. Mochi had already returned to his shoulder. The kitten quietly licked one paw as though nothing unusual had happened. Something felt strange. The accident had changed direction at exactly the right moment. Too perfectly. One coincidence meant little. But somehow, it reminded him of the golden shimmer. Master Gu's words returned to him. "Don't mistake your guardian beast for your destiny." Lin Yuan glanced sideways at Mochi. "What exactly are you?" The kitten answered by rubbing against his cheek before letting out a tiny satisfied purr. No answer, only warmth. That evening, first-year students assembled at the central training grounds for their first orientation. Rows of newly awakened guardian beasts stood beside their masters. Some roared, some chirped. Some displayed elemental abilities to impress their classmates. Head instructor Zhao stepped onto the platform. His sharp eyes swept across the crowd. "You have all awakened guardian beasts. Some of you believe your future is guaranteed." His gaze paused briefly on Han Lai. "You are wrong." He shifted toward the opposite side. "Some of you believe you're wrong. Future has already ended." His eyes rested on Lin Yuan. "You are also wrong." The murmuring stopped. A guardian beast provides potential. It does not replace discipline. It does not replace courage, and it certainly does not replace effort. He raised one hand. "Tomorrow morning your true education begins. No matter what guardian beast stands beside you, you will all enter the wild frontier before this year ends." A ripple spread through the crowd. Everyone had heard stories of the wilderness beyond the city walls. Many never returned. "You have 1 year. Use it well." As the gathering dispersed, Han Lai deliberately walked past Lin Yuan. His crimson flame lion followed proudly at his side. Han Li looked once at the sleeping kitten. "You should withdraw before the practical examinations. It'll save you the embarrassment." Without waiting for a reply, he walked away. Lin Yuan watched him disappear into the crowd. He felt no anger, only determination. He gently scratched beneath Mochi's chin. "We'll let our results speak." Mochi stretched lazily. Then, almost too quietly to hear, "Mio." Far beneath Azure Guardian Academy, sealed behind countless layers of ancient stone, a weathered chamber had remained silent for centuries. Dust-covered forgotten morals. Broken statues knelt around a circular altar. Nothing had moved there in generations. Then, one ancient rune flickered. A single thread of golden light flowed across the cracked floor. Another rune awakened. Then, another. Deep within the darkness, something that had slept since history itself had nearly forgotten its name slowly opened unseen eyes. The ancient chamber returned to silence. The faint golden light faded from the cracked runes, until only darkness remained. If anyone had stood within the forgotten hall, they would have believed they had imagined the entire event. Above ground, Azure Guardian Academy slept peacefully beneath a sky filled with stars. Lin Yuan lay awake in his dormitory. The room was small. Simple wooden furniture. A narrow bed. A study desk facing the window. A bookshelf that still smelled of fresh timber. Across the room, his 3 roommates spoke excitedly about the day's awakenings. "My Thunder Falcon already understands 3 commands. My Stone Ape almost broke the training dummy. I heard Han Lai's Crimson Flame Lion is already stronger than some second-year guardian beasts." No one asked about Mochi. No one needed to. The tiny kitten had already found the warmest place in the room, curled against Lin Yuan's pillow, sleeping soundly. Lin Yuan watched the gentle rise and fall of its tiny body. What was that golden light today? Mochi twitched one ear. Nothing more. Eventually, exhaustion overcame curiosity. The room grew quiet. Morning arrived with the academy bell. Students flooded toward the outdoor training grounds where dozens of instructors already waited. Master Gu stood beside several wooden obstacle courses. Today's lesson looked surprisingly ordinary. Head instructor Zhao addressed the first years. "Every new guardian master believes power begins with combat. It doesn't." He pointed toward the obstacle field. "Power begins with trust." Pairs of students exchanged puzzled glances. "Guardian Sky? Beasts are not weapons. They are partners. If you cannot move together, you cannot fight together." The first exercise was simple. Each student had to complete a winding obstacle course while remaining within a fixed distance of their guardian beast. Running ahead caused failure. Falling behind caused failure. Ignoring the beast's pace caused failure. The exercise quickly became chaotic. Large guardian beasts struggled through narrow gaps. Flying beasts became distracted. Powerful beasts ignored commands from inexperienced masters. Students shouted constantly. Lin Yuan crouched beside Mochi. "You ready?" The kitten blinked. "Meow." The signal sounded. Instead of rushing forward, Lin Yuan matched Mochi's tiny pace. The kitten trotted happily through the course, occasionally stopping to inspect flowers or butterflies. Several students laughed. He's taking his pet for a walk. Han Lai finished his course quickly, despite his lion occasionally charging ahead. Others struggled far more. When Lin Yuan reached a narrow balance beam, he paused. Mochi looked up. The beam was far too high for such a tiny body. Lin Yuan thought for a moment. "Can I carry you?" Mochi immediately climbed onto his shoulder. They crossed together. At the next obstacle, a shallow stream blocked the path. Again, Mochi simply looked at him. Lin Yuan smiled. "I suppose we're doing this together." The kitten rode on his shoulder until they reached solid ground before hopping down again. The entire course took much longer than most students. Yet neither master nor guardian became separated once. Master Gu quietly made a note on his clipboard. Partnership. Excellent. Raw power could be developed later. Trust was far harder to teach. The following exercises focused on communication. Simple commands, hand signals, movement drills. By midday, both students and guardian beasts were exhausted. Mochi collapsed dramatically beneath a tree. Its tiny paws stretched into the air. Lin Yuan laughed. "We've barely started." The kitten responded with an exaggerated sigh. Nearby, Han Li watched the scene with open amusement. "You really think that thing belongs in this academy?" Lin Yuan stood. "It belongs with me." Han Li shrugged. "We'll see how long that confidence lasts." Before Lin Yuan could answer, Master Gu approached carrying several small leather pouches. The afternoon lesson, he handed one pouch to every student. Inside were polished wooden tokens no larger than a thumb. Hidden throughout the Eastern Practice Forest are identical tokens. You have until sunset. Bring back as many as you can. Students immediately became excited. Finally, a competitive exercise. There is one rule. Master Gu's calm voice silenced everyone. You may not harm another student. You may compete. You may outsmart. You may negotiate. But anyone intentionally injuring another participant automatically fails. The students dispersed into the practice forest. Lin Yuan opened his pouch once more. The token inside had a faint scent of cedar. Mochi sniffed it carefully. Then, its ears suddenly perked. Without hesitation, the kitten began trotting deeper into the trees. "So you've already got a plan?" Several times they spotted other students searching nearby. Mochi ignored them completely. Instead, it wandered in seemingly random directions. Left. Right. Back again. Lin Yuan trusted it enough not to interfere. After nearly 20 minutes, Mochi suddenly stopped beside an old fallen log. It sniffed once, then lightly tapped the moss with one paw. Lin Yuan brushed the moss aside. A wooden token rested beneath it. He blinked. "Nice work." Mochi purred proudly. They continued searching. Another token appeared beneath a cluster of roots. A third rested inside the hollow of an ancient tree. Lin Yuan frowned thoughtfully. "You're not smelling the wood. The token in my pouch already has that scent. So what are you following?" Mochi only blinked. A rustling sound interrupted his thoughts. 3 students emerged from another path. Each wore increasingly frustrated expressions. "You found 3 already?" "How?" One looked suspiciously toward Mochi. "The cat can't possibly be helping." Lin Yuan smiled politely. "We've just been lucky." The students exchanged helpless looks. One sighed. "I wish we had your luck." Lin Yuan looked down at Mochi. For just an instant, the kitten's golden eyes shimmered almost imperceptibly. Then they returned to normal. His heartbeat quickened. Twice. No. 3 times now. Coincidences were beginning to gather around the tiny stray cat. And for the first time, Lin Yuan no longer believed they were coincidences at all. Lin Yuan lowered his gaze, pretending not to notice the faint shimmer in Mochi's eyes. If his suspicion was correct, drawing attention to it now would only invite questions he could not answer. The 3 students continued down another path, still muttering about bad luck. Only after their voices faded into the distance did Lin Yuan kneel beside the kitten. "Mochi." The tiny cat looked up. "Mio? When we get back?" He paused, choosing his words carefully. "I think we should run a few experiments." Mochi tilted its head. Then, as if agreeing without understanding the details, it bumped its forehead lightly against his hand. The search continued. This time, Lin Yuan paid less attention to the forest, and more attention to Mochi. Whenever the kitten wandered normally, nothing unusual happened. But occasionally, it became completely focused. Its ears stood upright. Its breathing slowed. Its golden eyes reflected tiny specks of light. Each time that happened, Mochi would quietly approach a bird, squirrel, or rabbit without attempting to catch it. The animal would pause for only a heartbeat. A nearly invisible golden thread drifted into Mochi. Moments later, Something fortunate happened. A loose patch of leaves concealed another token. A broken branch revealed a shortcut. A gust of wind uncovered markings carved into a stone, pointing toward another search area. None of the events were impossible. Each one was simply fortunate. By sunset, Lin Yuan carried 7 wooden tokens. When the students returned to the training grounds, surprised voices immediately spread through the crowd. 7? I only found 2. The highest in my group was 4. Han Lai confidently placed 6 tokens onto the instructor's table. I believe that's enough. Master Ge counted them before. Looking toward Lin Yuan. And yours? Lin Yuan quietly emptied his pouch. 7 wooden tokens rolled across the table. For the first time since the awakening ceremony, genuine surprise appeared on Han Li's face. Impossible. You cheated. Head instructor Zhao immediately looked up. Explain. Han Li pointed directly at Lin Yuan. His guardian beast is useless. There's no way he beat everyone. Master Ge calmly answered before Lin Yuan could speak. I personally scattered every token. No student knew their locations. Han Li frowned. Then it makes even less sense, Master Ge replied. Results do not always follow expectations. The old instructor handed Lin Yuan a small silver badge. Highest score. A simple reward. Nothing valuable. Yet as Lin Yuan accepted it, countless eyes followed the movement. Yesterday, those same eyes had laughed at him. Today, they were confused. Confusion was better than ridicule. As students dispersed toward the dormitories, Master Ge quietly stopped Lin Yuan. Walk with me. The academy gardens had become peaceful beneath the orange evening sky. Flowers lined narrow stone paths. Guardian beasts rested beside ponds after a long day of training. For several minutes neither spoke. Finally, Master Ge broke the silence. Did your guardian beast help you find the tokens? Lin Yuan hesitated. He remembered the golden threads. The impossible timing. The strange coincidences. Yes. In what way? I'm not completely sure yet. Master Ge nodded slowly. A good answer. Lin Yuan blinked. You aren't disappointed. Why would I be? Everyone says Mochi is weak. The old instructor stopped. Beside a small pond, several koi swam lazily beneath floating lotus leaves. When I was your age, he pointed toward the fish. I believe the biggest fish would always survive. He tossed a tiny crumb into the water. Immediately, dozens of smaller fish darted forward. The largest fish reacted too slowly. The crumb disappeared. Master Ge smiled. Strength matters. So do timing. So does awareness. So does patience. He looked directly at Lin Yuan. The world is full of people who mistake visible power for complete understanding. Lin Yuan listened quietly. Yuan listened quietly. Know what your little companion truly is. But I do know this. The old instructor's voice became softer. Never reveal an ability before you understand it yourself. Lin Yuan's heart skipped a beat. Master Ge had noticed something. Perhaps not the truth, but enough to offer a warning. I understand. Good. Master Ge resumed walking. Tomorrow begins practical combat. Don't try to prove anyone wrong. Simply learn. That night, after his roommates had fallen asleep, Lin Yuan quietly carried Mochi outside. Moonlight covered the academy courtyard. The training area stood empty. Only distant insects disturbed the silence. Lin Yuan placed a small pebble on the ground. I think, he smiled awkwardly. This might sound strange, Miao. I want to understand what you can do. Mochi sat obediently before him. Lin Yuan thought back to everything he had observed. The golden threads. The lucky moments. The animals. He took a deep breath. Can you do it again? The kitten blinked twice. Nothing happened. Lin Yuan waited. Still nothing. After several moments, Mochi simply rolled onto its back, exposing its tiny stomach. Lin Yuan laughed quietly. So that's not the command. He scratched the kitten's belly. Mochi purred loudly. A tiny moth fluttered through the courtyard. Instantly, Mochi's attention shifted. The playful expression vanished. Its golden eyes became intensely focused. The moth landed on a nearby training post. For the briefest instant, a delicate golden thread drifted from the insect into Mochi. The moth flew away unharmed. Lin Yuan held his breath. So it wasn't my imagination. He looked around. Nothing happened. 1 second. 2, 5. Then a gentle breeze crossed the courtyard. An old practice target, weakened by years of use, finally snapped from its stand and toppled over. As it struck the ground, something metallic bounced free from the hollow base. Lin Yuan walked over. Hidden inside was an old bronze training medal, probably lost years earlier. He picked it up slowly. The medal itself had little value. That wasn't the point. The point was that he would never have looked beneath the target if it had not fallen over at that exact moment. He stared at the medal, then at Mochi. Then back again. The tiny kitten yawned as though the entire event had been completely ordinary. Lin Yuan crouched before it. You don't create miracles. Mochi blinked. You create opportunities. The kitten let out a soft, satisfied purr. For the first time since Awakening Day, Lin Yuan felt he had taken his first true step toward understanding the partner everyone else had dismissed as worthless. Lin Yuan remained in the courtyard long after the moon had reached its highest point. The bronze training medal rested in his palm. It had not appeared from nowhere. It had not magically materialized. It had simply been hidden inside a practice target that happened to collapse at exactly the right moment. That difference mattered. It meant the world still obeyed its own rules. Mochi merely nudged those rules ever so slightly. Lin Yuan slipped the medal into his pocket. We need proper experiments. Mochi stretched lazily. Mao, not tonight. The kitten immediately climbed onto his shoulder, apparently satisfied that the discussion had ended. Lin Yuan smiled. So you're leaving all the thinking to me? Mochi answered by curling into a tiny ball against his neck. He took that as a yes. The following morning, Azure Guardian Academy held its first practical combat lesson. The training arena buzzed with excitement. Rows of wooden platforms filled the enormous field. Students stood beside their guardian beasts while instructors observed from elevated walkways. Head instructor Zhao raised one hand. Today's objective is simple. You are not here to defeat your opponent. You are here to understand your guardian. The match ends when one side lands 3 clean strikes. No serious injuries. No reckless attacks. Pairs were announced one after another. Powerful beasts clashed across the arena. Stone shattered. Fire flashed. Wind blades sliced harmlessly into protective barriers. The first-year students cheered with every impressive display. Eventually, Han Lai. The Crimson Flame Lion strode confidently onto the platform. His opponent lasted less than a minute. The lion's overwhelming physical strength forced 3 clean hits before the other student could organize any defense. Applause spread through the arena. Han Lai accepted it with an easy smile. Several matches later, Lin Yuan. The conversations immediately grew quieter. His assigned opponent, a broad-shouldered boy named Kiao Ming, scratched the back of his head awkwardly. His guardian beast, a rock boar, snorted confidently. Kiao Ming hesitated. I don't really want to fight you. Lin Yuan smiled politely. Neither do I, but we're here to learn. The instructor nodded. Begin. The rock boar charged immediately. Its heavy hooves pounded across the platform. Lin Yuan didn't move. Not yet. He watched, measured. The boar lowered its head. Just before impact, Lin Yuan stepped sideways. The boar rushed past him. Its momentum carried it farther than expected. Kiao Ming hurried to redirect it. Mochi remained sitting quietly near the edge of the platform. Not attacking, not running. Simply watching. Watching. The spectators laughed. The cat isn't even participating. Han Lai folded his arms. This is pointless. Another charge came. Again Lin Yuan observed carefully. The rock boar always favored its right side when turning. Its front left hoof landed slightly heavier. A tiny habit, easy to miss. On the third charge, Lin Yuan sidestepped once more. The heavier hoof landed on a loose patch of dirt left by an earlier match. It slipped. Only slightly. Just enough. Just enough. The boar stumbled. Kiao Ming instinctively reached forward to steady it. His balance broke. Lin Yuan gently tapped Kiao Ming's shoulder. First strike. The instructor nodded. Valid. A murmur spread through the audience. That hadn't looked like luck. It looked like observation. Kiao Ming grinned despite losing the point. Again. This time, he became more cautious. The match slowed. Lin Yuan circled patiently. Watching. Waiting. The rock boar grew increasingly impatient. As it lunged once more, a small pebble rolled beneath one hoof. Its footing shifted for the briefest instant. Lin Yuan's eyes widened. That pebble. He hadn't noticed it before. Neither had anyone else. He tapped Kiao Ming again. Second strike. Far across the platform, Mochi's golden eyes briefly shimmered. Only Lin Yuan noticed. So that's how it works. It doesn't decide the outcome. It creates tiny openings, whether I use them. That's my choice. The third exchange lasted much longer. Kiao Ming adjusted quickly. He stopped overcommitting. He watched Lin Yuan instead of charging blindly. Good. Lin Yuan smiled inwardly. He's learning too. Minutes passed without either side gaining an advantage. Then a breeze swept across the arena. Dust drifted through the sunlight. For just a heartbeat, Qiao Ming blinked. His vision blurred. No more than an ordinary reflex. Lin Yuan moved. One precise step. One controlled touch. Third strike. The instructor raised his hand. Match complete. Silence lingered for several seconds. No explosions. No overwhelming power. No flashy techniques. Yet Lin Yuan had defeated a physically stronger opponent without taking a single hit. Qiao Ming laughed first. I didn't even realize when you won. Lin Yuan offered his hand. You adapted quickly. Qiao Ming accepted it immediately. So did you. As they stepped down from the platform, the laughter surrounding Lin Yuan sounded different from Awakening Day. No longer mocking. Curious. Master Gu watched from the observation deck. Beside him stood head instructor Zhao. The boy isn't relying on chance. Master Gu nodded. He notices opportunities other people ignore. And his guardian, Master Gu's eyes rested on the tiny kitten calmly riding Lin Yuan's shoulder. I don't know, but I suspect he left the sentence unfinished. Not because he lacked an answer, because he lacked proof. That evening, as the academy settled into its usual rhythm, a messenger hurried toward the instructor's residence carrying an aged wooden box. The seal upon it had not been opened for decades. It bore the crest of Azure Guardian Academy's oldest archives. Master Gu accepted the box with a puzzled expression. Inside lay a single weathered scroll. Its pages contained faded sketches of countless guardian beasts recorded throughout the Academy's history. He turned the pages slowly. Wolf, bear, falcon, serpent, tiger, phoenix, dragon. Then, his fingers stopped. Near the edge of one brittle page rested an unfinished ink drawing. A tiny cat. Dirty white fur. One torn ear. Golden eyes. The accompanying text had almost completely faded. Only 3 words remained legible. Guardian. Fortune. Never. The rest had been deliberately scratched away long ago. Master Gu stared silently at the page. Outside his window, the evening breeze stirred the academy trees. Across the campus, Lin Yuan sat beneath the same old tree where he had first accepted Mochi as his partner. The tiny kitten slept peacefully across his lap. Students still whispered when they passed. Some still doubted. Some still laughed. But others had begun watching. Lin Yuan gently stroked Mochi's soft fur. We've only just begun. The kitten purred quietly in its sleep. Far below the academy, deep within the forgotten chamber hidden beneath layers of ancient stone, another golden rune awakened. This time, it remained lit. The rune beneath Azure Guardian Academy continued to glow through the night. Above it, unaware of the ancient chamber or the incomplete record in Master Gu's hands, Lin Yuan woke before the first spell. Mochi occupied the center of his pillow. The tiny cat had somehow stretched across nearly all of it, leaving Lin Yuan balanced on the narrow edge of the bed. He stared at his partner for several seconds. Mochi opened one golden eye. Neither moved. Then the kitten yawned, rolled over, and pushed both paws against Lin Yuan's face. Lin Yuan caught it before it slipped from the pillow. You've become very confident for someone who contributes nothing toward rent. Mochi purred. The first bell rang across the dormitory grounds. Lin Yuan dressed, washed, and carried the still drowsy kitten toward the eastern training field. Master Gu was already waiting. The elderly instructor stood beside a long wooden table covered with objects. Iron weights, lengths of rope, glass marbles, small bells, wooden blocks, clay cups. None resembled ordinary combat equipment. Lin Yuan approached. You asked me to come early. Master Gu nodded toward the table. Yesterday you defeated Qiao Ming by noticing openings. Yes. Today you will learn why noticing them is not enough. He placed 3 clay cups upside down. A small wooden bead disappeared beneath one of them. Master Gu shifted the cups rapidly. Find it. Lin Yuan followed the movement. The middle. Master Gu lifted the cup. Empty. The bead rested beneath the cup on the left. Lin Yuan frowned. Again, the cups moved. This time, Lin Yuan focused on the instructor's wrists rather than the cups. Right. Wrong again. Master Gu repeated the exercise 10 times. Lin Yuan succeeded twice. Mochi sat on the table, watching the cups with mild interest. Master Gu collected the bead. You relied on your eyes. Was I supposed to use something else? You were supposed to prepare. Lin Yuan looked at the 3 identical cups. I didn't know what preparation was possible. That is usually what people say after losing. Master Gu tied a thin red thread around the bead. He returned it beneath one cup. When the cups moved, the thread brightly appeared along the table. Lin Yuan identified the correct one immediately. Master Gu removed the thread. Preparation does not mean knowing everything. It means creating information before uncertainty begins. He pointed toward the bells. "Your guardian appears capable of helping you recognize favorable moments. Lin?" Yuan's attention sharpened. Master Gu had not spoken directly about the golden threads or impossible coincidences. He had chosen careful words. "Do not answer questions I have not asked," the old instructor continued. "I do not need to know what your bond can do yet. Then why train me? Because an opportunity is worthless to someone who cannot recognize its worthless to someone who cannot recognize its value." He arranged 5 bells at different distances. "Close your eyes." Lin Yuan obeyed. Master Gu rang 1 bell. "Second from the left." "Correct." "Another." "Far right." "Wrong." For the next hour, Lin Yuan listened to bells, identified falling objects by sound, memorized the position of wooden blocks, and repeated movements while Master Gu altered small details around him. Mochi participated only when snacks appeared. By sunrise, Lin Yuan had failed more exercises than he had completed. His shoulders ached. His attention felt stretched thin. Master Gu handed him water. "Disappointed? A little? Good." Lin Yuan drank. "Yesterday, victory made you believe you understood more than you did." The old instructor glanced toward Mochi. "A mysterious advantage is most dangerous immediately after its first success." Lin Yuan remembered the loose dirt beneath the rock boar's hoof. The pebble. The passing dust. Each opening had helped him. None had taught him how often such openings would appear. "What should I do?" "Stop asking your guardian to make you fortunate." Master Ga gathered the cups. "Build situations where even a small amount of fortune becomes useful." The formal lessons began soon afterward. For the next several weeks, Lin Yuan lived according to a routine that left almost no time unused. Morning observation drills with Master Gu. Academy classes. Guardian coordination exercises. Physical conditioning. Combat practice. Private experiments after sunset. Mochi's ability remained difficult to control. The kitten could steal golden fragments from insects, birds, and small animals, but not always when Lin Yuan asked. Some days, it responded immediately. Other days, it chased leaves instead. The amount of fortune stolen also differed. A faint thread might produce nothing Lin Yuan could identify. A brighter thread could lead to a useful coincidence within minutes. He began recording every test. Source, distance, brightness, time before the fortunate event, possible result. He avoided taking luck repeatedly from the same creature. The sparrow outside the cafeteria had seemed unharmed, but he had no proof that larger thefts were safe. That uncertainty became his first rule. Do not steal what you do not understand. His second rule emerged after a failed experiment. Lin Yuan had prepared 10 identical boxes and hidden a token in one. He asked a classmate to shuffle them while Mochi drew fortune from several moths gathered near a lantern. Lin Yuan expected some obvious clue. A loose lid, a scratch, a box shifting out of place. Nothing happened. He chose incorrectly 4 times. On the 5th attempt, a breeze entered the room and pushed one box slightly forward. Certain that fortune had marked it, Lin Yuan opened the box. Empty. The hidden token was inside another. Later, while cleaning the room, he discovered the box pushed by the wind had contained a cracked hinge. Moving it forward had prevented the hinge from catching and cutting his finger. The fortune had helped, just not in the way he expected. That became his second rule. Fortune does not obey assumptions. His third rule arrived painfully. During a movement drill, Lin Yuan intentionally entered a difficult position, believing Mochi's stored fortune would create an escape. No opening appeared. He took a wooden staff across the ribs and spent the afternoon struggling to breathe comfortably. Master Gu did not scold him. The instructor simply placed a page before him. On it were 2 sentences. A prepared person uses fortune. A reckless person demands rescue. Lin Yuan copied the words into the front of his notebook. He never repeated the mistake. By the end of the month, students no longer laughed when he entered a training field. They watched instead. Lin Yuan still lacked offensive power. Mochi possessed no visible combat technique. Against powerful guardian beasts, he could not exchange direct attacks. But he had become difficult to defeat. He studied terrain before every exercise. He checked wind direction. He identified loose stones, uneven ground, narrow spaces, shadows, and obstacles. He carried simple tools: string, chalk, wooden wedges, a folding cloth. Nothing impressive. Nothing impressive. Each object gave chance more ways to matter. In a team capture exercise, Lin Yuan marked 3 false trails before the match began. When a fortunate gust disturbed one trail more clearly than the others, the opposing team followed it into a dead end. During a defensive trial, he tied bells along routes his team could not observe. One bell rang when no enemy stood nearby. His teammates believed it useless until Lin Yuan realized a concealed guardian had disturbed the rope from beneath the soil. In a resource contest, Mochi's fortune caused a cracked water barrel to leak. Instead of mourning the lost water, Lin Yuan followed the stream downhill and discovered the opposing team's hidden storage point. None of the victories looked miraculous. That made them more unsettling to his rivals. Han Lai felt it most. The Crimson Flame Lion continued to dominate direct combat. Its flames grew hotter each week, and its physical strength surpassed almost every first-year Guardian Beast. Han Li won quickly, Lin Yuan won slowly. Their names began appearing beside one another at the top of different academy rankings. Han Lai led in combat force. Lin Yuan led in tactical evaluation. Han Lai led in destructive output. Lin Yuan led in survival exercises. The comparison irritated him more than open defeat would have. One afternoon, he intercepted Lin Yuan outside the equipment hall. The Crimson Flame Lion stood behind him, its burning mane throwing red light across the stone path. "You've become popular." Lin Yuan adjusted the bundle of training ropes on his shoulder. "People like unusual results. They call you clever. Some do. They say you could defeat stronger students." Lin Yuan looked at him. "Did you come here to ask whether that includes you?" Han Lai's eyes narrowed. "Do you think it does?" "Not yet." The answer stopped him. Han Lai had expected arrogance or denial. Lin Yuan continued before he could respond. "Your lion is faster than anything I've faced. Its flames control space, and you don't charge carelessly anymore." Han Lai folded his arms. "So you admit you would lose? Today, yes. And that doesn't bother you? It tells me what I need to improve." Lin Yuan walked past him. Han Li turned. "What happens when clever tricks stop working?" Lin Yuan paused. "Then I'll need better ones." Mochi looked over his shoulder and meowed. Han Lai could not decide whether the cat was agreeing or mocking him. The Academy announced the first-year Guardian tournament 2 days later. The tournament would determine field team placements for the season's first supervised expedition. Every match would take place inside a variable arena, containing terrain chosen at random. Open ground, woodland, ruins, water channels, rock fields. Students could not predict their environment before entering. The format immediately favored adaptable Guardian Masters. It also placed Lin Yuan under greater scrutiny than ever. Master Gu handed him the tournament notice during morning training. "You will enter." Lin Yuan read the rules. "I assume participation was mandatory." "It is." "Then why tell me?" "Because entering and competing are not the same." Master Gu set a clay cup on a tall post. "You have spent weeks learning to exploit small advantages." He placed 6 more cups around the field. "Now, everyone knows you do it." Lin Yuan understood. "They'll become more cautious. They will remove obvious weaknesses." The old instructor handed him a short wooden baton. "And they will target Mochi." The kitten sat beneath the nearest post, cleaning one paw. Lin Yuan's expression tightened. Tournament barriers prevented serious injury, but attacks against Guardian Beasts were permitted. Most opponents had ignored Mochi because they considered it irrelevant. That would change. What do I do? Prepare for people who prepare for you. The first tournament day filled Azure Guardian Academy's central arena. Students crowded the stands. Instructors occupied the upper platforms. Families and city representatives watched through projection crystals mounted along the walls. The Academy used the event to assess more than strength, leadership, control, adaptability, Guardian bonds. Mai Shui won the opening match. Her Frost Phoenix covered the forest arena in a thin layer of ice, limiting her opponent's movement without injuring them. She directed every attack with precision, ending the match before the other student reached effective range. Han Li fought next. The arena became open stone. His Crimson Flame Lion shattered the opponent's defense through controlled bursts of fire. Han Lai no longer relied on one reckless charge. He forced movement, cut off escape, then struck where the opponent had nowhere left to go. Lin Yuan watched carefully. Han Lai had learned from their earlier conversations, and from Lin Yuan's example. That made him more dangerous. Lin Yuan's first match took place in a ruined courtyard. His opponent, Sun Ke, had bonded with a long-armed tree ape. The ape could move across broken walls faster than Lin Yuan could run, and possessed enough reach to attack Mochi from above. The moment the match began, Sun Ke pointed toward the kitten. "Take it out first." The ape leaped. Lin Yuan had expected the order. Before entering the arena, he had tied a loose cloth across the opening between 2 collapsed pillars. Mochi darted beneath it. The tree ape followed from above. Lin Yuan pulled one cord. The cloth rose like a curtain, blocking the ape's vision for half a heartbeat. It tore through easily. That half heartbeat was enough for Mochi to change direction. The ape landed where the kitten had been and found a chalk circle beneath its feet. Sun Ke frowned. The circle meant nothing. That was the point. He assumed it marked a trap and ordered his guardian backward. Lin Yuan gained space without spending anything except chalk. The next exchange lasted longer. Sun Ke refused to approach obvious obstacles. He kept his tree ape high, using broken walls as platforms. Lin Yuan could not reach it. Mochi remained exposed whenever they crossed open ground. A golden thread drifted from a lizard hiding among the stones into the kitten. Lin Yuan noticed but did not act immediately. He scanned the arena. Loose masonry, a cracked arch. Sunlight entering through an opening, a line of old rainwater channels carved into the floor. Nothing changed. The tree ape launched a piece of rubble. Lin Yuan pulled Mochi aside. The stone missed, struck the edge of a channel, and split in two. One fragment rolled into a shallow depression. It blocked the channel. Lin Yuan saw the opportunity. He kicked aside a clay jar left as arena scenery. Water spilled into the carved groove. The blocked channel redirected it across a smooth stone ramp. Sun Ke understood too late. His tree ape landed on the wet surface. One foot slipped, not enough to fall, enough to force its long arm against the ground for balance. Lin Yuan struck the arm with his wooden baton. First point. The audience reacted with a wave of surprised noise. Sun Ke immediately withdrew the ape to higher ground. Lin Yuan had revealed the water channel. It would not work twice. He did not need it to. The chalk circles, loose cloth, and visible cords continued to distort Sun Ke's decisions. Some were traps. Most were not. By the time Sun Ke recognized the pattern, he had become too cautious. Lin Yuan advanced through terrain the stronger guardian should have controlled. The tree ape attacked from a broken wall. A weakened stone shifted beneath its weight. The movement was ordinary. The timing was not. Its body dipped. Lin Yuan threw the loose cloth upward. The ape tore it aside, but the distraction concealed Mochi slipping behind a pillar. Sun Ke turned to locate the kitten. Lin Yuan closed the distance and struck his shoulder. Second point. The final point came without fortune. Sun Ke, frustrated by two subtle reversals, ordered a direct attack. Lin Yuan had been waiting for impatience. He stepped inside the ape's long reach, avoided the descending arm, and tapped Sun Ke's chest before the guardian could recover. The barrier flashed. Match complete. Lin Yuan left the arena to louder applause than he expected. Mai Sui waited beside the exit. Her frost phoenix perched on a silver rail behind her. You used the first two exchanges to make him doubt every object in the arena. Lin Yuan nodded. He was stronger when he moved freely. So you made caution feel dangerous. Her voice remained cool, but no longer dismissive. That would not work against everyone. No strategy should. Maixue studied Mochi. The kitten was trying to pull a decorative tassel from the arena gate. Your guardian still hasn't attacked once. No, can it? Lin Yuan lifted Mochi before the tassel came free. We're working on our strengths first. Mei Shu looked unconvinced, but she did not call the kitten useless. The tournament continued over 3 days. Lin Yuan defeated a Windhound master by predicting how the animal used scent currents. He lost his first point against a shield beetle. When fortune produced an opening he misread. Instead of panicking, he changed plans and used the beetle's defensive posture to trap its master against the arena boundary. Each match exposed another weakness. Lin Yuan lacked speed. He could not maintain pressure against ranged attacks. If an opponent ignored distractions and advanced patiently, many of his tools became ineffective. Master Gu made him list every weakness after each victory. Winning hides mistakes, the old instructor said. Write them down before pride erases them. By the quarterfinals, Lin Yuan's notebook contained more failures than successes. Mochi's control improved alongside him. The kitten began responding to simple signals. 2 taps meant stay close. A closed fist meant hide. A pointed finger identified a target from which Mochi could attempt to draw fortune. The ability still failed without warning. Sometimes no golden thread appeared. Sometimes the stolen fragment faded before producing a visible result. Lin Yuan adjusted by treating fortune as a possibility, rather than a resource he fully owned. His quarterfinal opponent was Maixue. The arena selection appeared above them. Frozen Lake. A shallow field of water hardened beneath artificial cold, surrounded by narrow stone banks. The frost phoenix opened its wings. Ice spread across the surface until the entire arena reflected the sky. Maixue stood at the far end. You have nowhere to hide. Lin Yuan tested the ice with 1 foot. No, and nothing to prepare. He looked at the cords wrapped around his wrist. We'll see. The signal sounded. The frost phoenix released a wave of cold. Lin Yuan moved sideways as ice crystals formed across the air. He could not outrun the bird. Instead, he threw 3 wooden wedges onto the frozen lake and pulled a cord through their loops. The wedges slid apart, creating a loose triangular boundary. Maixue did not enter it. She sent the phoenix overhead. A burst of cold struck from above. Lin Yuan dropped flat. The blast froze his sleeve to the lake. He tore free, leaving fabric behind. First point to Mei Shu. The exchange had taken less than 10 seconds. The crowd cheered. Mei Shu remained focused. Lin Yuan pushed himself up. Direct defense would fail. Mochi crouched near the stone bank, fur raised against the cold. A golden thread drifted from a small water insect trapped beneath a thin pocket in the ice. Mochi's eyes brightened. Lin Yuan watched the arena. No obvious change. The frost phoenix circled again. Mai Sui pointed. A line of ice spikes erupted toward him. Lin Yuan ran across the slick surface, using the cords around his wrists for balance. One spike formed at an angle. Slightly wrong. Its base struck one of the wooden wedges. The wedge shot across the lake. The cord followed. It looped around Mei Shui's ankle. Not tightly. Not enough to pull her down. Enough to make her glance toward it. Lin Yuan changed direction. The phoenix descended to intercept him. He threw his remaining cloth across the ice. The fabric slid beneath the bird. Its claws tore through, but the resistance shifted its landing. Lin Yuan passed beneath one wing and tapped Mai Shui's arm. First point. The arena erupted. Mei Shui immediately froze the cord around her ankle and shattered it. She looked at Lin Yuan with new caution. You planned for that? I planned for things to move. That isn't an answer. It is the only one I have. The next exchange became a contest of control. Mei Shui stopped pursuing quick victory. She built walls of ice, narrowing Lin Yuan's available routes. The open arena gradually became a maze that belonged to her. Lin Yuan used every obstacle she created, but each movement drove him farther from Mei Shui. He attempted to redirect a falling ice shard. The phoenix shattered it before it could matter. He placed cords across two passages. Mei Shui froze them solid from a distance. He waited for fortune. Nothing came. Mochi remained close, but no creatures were nearby. The cold had driven even the smallest insects into hiding. Lin Yuan realized the limitation too late. Fortune theft required something from which to steal. An empty battlefield starved the mechanic. Mei Shui closed the maze. The phoenix attacked from above while ice walls prevented escape. Lin Yuan avoided the first strike. The second touched his shoulder. The barrier flashed. Second point to Mei Shui. On the final exchange, Lin Yuan changed his objective. He could not win, but he could learn. Instead of moving toward Mei Shui, he rushed the frost phoenix. The audience gasped. The bird released freezing wind. Lin Yuan threw his last wooden wedge onto the lake, stepped on it as it slid, and allowed the momentum to carry him beneath the first wave. He nearly reached the phoenix. Nearly, the bird twisted in the air and struck his baton from his hand. Mei Shui's next ice shard touched his chest. Third point. Match complete. The barrier lowered. Lin Yuan remained on the ice for a moment, breathing hard. Mochi hurried toward him, paws slipping repeatedly across the frozen surface. It tried to run faster, spun once and slid into his leg. Laughter spread through the arena. This time it held no cruelty. Lin Yuan lifted the kitten. Mei Shui approached. You knew the final charge would fail. I suspected. Then why do it? I needed to know whether the phoenix loses control when forced to turn sharply. Her gaze shifted toward her guardian. The bird's last movement had been precise, but its left wing had dipped lower than the right. A small imperfection. Useful information. You study people even while losing. Especially while losing. Mei Shui held out her hand. Lin Yuan accepted it. You were more difficult than stronger opponents, she said. But preparation does not solve everything. I know. Good. She glanced at Mochi. The kitten had begun licking melted frost from its paw. Your guardian needs a way to survive battlefields where its ability has nothing to draw from. Lin Yuan looked at her. She had noticed part of the truth. Not the golden threads. Not fortune theft itself, but the dependence on living creatures nearby. I'll remember that. Mei Shui advanced to the final. Han Lai defeated her. The Crimson Flame Lion's heat weakened her ice structures faster than she could rebuild them. Mei Shui controlled most of the match, but Han Lai endured her pressure and forced a close-range exchange. His victory was not easy. That pleased him less than expected. When the tournament ended, Han Lai stood first. Mei Shui second. Lin Yuan placed among the final four. The academy assigned all three to the same field expedition team. Qiao Ming joined them as the fourth member. Master Gu would supervise. The Eastern Practice Forest had prepared them for controlled searches. Their new destination would not be controlled. Mistwood Valley lay several hours beyond the outer city wall. Low-level wild beasts inhabited the region. So did valuable herbs, unstable terrain, and weather that changed without warning. The Academy's task appeared simple. Enter the valley, collect 3 Moonveil herbs, return before sunset on the second day. The real test involved everything surrounding the objective. Navigation, resource management, guardian coordination, team decisions. The city gate opened at dawn. For many first years it was the first time they had seen the world beyond the defensive walls. Azure Guardian City's barrier rose behind them, like a transparent mountain. Beyond it stretched wilderness without roads. Forests covered distant hills. Winged beasts moved among clouds far beyond Academy patrol routes. Every sound felt sharper outside civilization. Mochi sat inside Lin Yuan's hood, peering over his shoulder. Master Gu led the team along a marked trail. Han Lai walked near the front with his lion. Mei Shui monitored the sky. Qiao Ming and his rock boar carried shared supplies. Lin Yuan studied the ground. The trail changed as they approached Mistwood Valley. Roots crossed the path. Moisture gathered on stones. Small claw marks appeared on tree trunks. Master Gu stopped beside the first valley marker. From this point onward, I will not give instructions unless your lives are in danger. Han Lai looked into the mist. We only need 3 herbs. You need to return with 3 herbs. The distinction settled over the team. They entered. Mistwood Valley earned its name quickly. White fog hung between ancient trees. Visibility changed with every slope. One moment, they could see 50 steps ahead. The next, only 10. The Frost Phoenix flew above the group, but the canopy blocked much of its view. Han Lai proposed moving directly toward the valley's central spring, where Moonvale herbs were known to grow. Lin Yuan crouched beside several bent plants. Something large passed through here recently. Qiao Ming examined the marks. A wild boar, too narrow. Mei Shui looked toward a scratched tree. Clawhorn elk. The species was stronger than most. Creatures expected near the valley entrance, normally calm, dangerous when startled. Han Li glanced toward the central route. We can handle one. Lin Yuan traced the tracks. There are at least 4. Han Lai's lion growled softly. We can handle 4, possibly. You disagree? I think fighting them gains us nothing. Han Li looked impatient. The fastest route leads through their territory. Lin Yuan pointed toward moss growing on the northern side of the stones. The mist is heavier near the central spring. The elk probably moved downhill for water at dawn. If we take the western ridge, we can reach the same area without crossing their return path. It adds an hour. It may save more. Mei Shui considered both options. We take the ridge. Han Lai turned toward her. Why? Because the mission rewards herbs, not unnecessary battles. He disliked the decision but accepted it. The western ridge proved steeper than expected. Qiao Ming's rock boar handled the climb easily. Mochi did not. After slipping twice, the kitten climbed into Lin Yuan's hood and refused to leave. By midday, the team reached higher ground overlooking the valley's central basin. The spring lay below. Silver-leafed plants grew along its edges. Moonvale herbs. Han Li smiled. 3 already. Lin Yuan counted more than 20. Too many. Qiao Ming looked confused. Isn't it that good? Herb gatherers visit this valley regularly. A cluster this large should not remain untouched near the main spring. Mei Shui scanned the basin. No animal tracks. The mud around the water appeared smooth, undisturbed. Master Gu remained several steps behind them, saying nothing. Han Li examined the area. I don't see a threat. Neither do I, Lin Yuan said. That's the problem. They observed from the ridge. A bird descended toward the spring. Before touching the water, it changed direction sharply and flew away. Mochi's fur rose. A low vibration passed through the ground. The surface of the spring trembled, then became still. Mei Shui whispered, burrowing beast. The answer emerged a moment later. A long shape moved beneath the mud. A mistjaw crocodile. Its gray hide matched the basin floor almost perfectly. The creature waited beneath the herbs, using them as bait for herbivores. Qiao Ming exhaled slowly. I would have walked straight down. Han Lai watched the hidden beast. His expression tightened, but he did not argue. They moved farther along the ridge and found a smaller patch of Moonvale herbs near a shaded stream. Only 2 plants had matured. The mission required 3. The mission required 3? Lin Yuan checked the surrounding soil. A narrow trail led north. Someone or something had harvested the other plants recently. The team followed cautiously. The trail ended at a shallow cave. Inside, 3 Moonvale herbs had been arranged beside a nest. A wounded silverback hare lay curled around 2 newborn kits. Its hind leg bore a deep bite. Mei Shui lowered her hand. The mother gathered them. Moonvale herbs could reduce inflammation and help guardian beasts recover from venom. The hare had likely sensed their medicinal value. Han Lai looked at the 3 plants. We need 1, Qiao Ming frowned. Taking it could kill her. The mission does not say the herbs must come from an unoccupied patch. Lin Yuan studied the wound. The bite marks were narrow, venomous. The hare's breathing had become shallow. Even 3 herbs might not be enough without preparation. He opened the Academy supply kit. Basic antidote powder, bandages, clean water. Han Li noticed. Those supplies are for us. We have more than we need for one night. We don't know that. No, Lin Yuan said. But we know she needs them now. Han Lai looked toward Master Gu. The instructor offered no judgment. Mike Sue crouched beside Lin Yuan. My phoenix can cool the wound and slow the venom. Qiao Ming opened the water flask. I'll hold her. The silverback hare resisted weakly until Mochi approached. The kitten stopped just outside the nest. For once, it did not attempt to steal fortune. It lowered itself to the ground and gave a quiet chirping sound. The hare's trembling eased. Lin Yuan cleaned the wound. Mai Shui's phoenix cooled the swollen flesh. Qiao Ming kept the injured animal still without frightening the kits. Han Lai stood apart. After several moments, he removed a small sealed vial from his belt. Flame lion handlers carry ashroot extract for heat poisoning. He handed it to Lin Yuan. It also slows some venoms. Lin Yuan accepted it. Thank you. Han Lai looked away. Don't waste it. They used 2 moonveil herbs to make a paste, and left the third untouched. The hare's breathing stabilized by evening. The team camped near the cave instead of continuing deeper. They had collected only 2 mission herbs. Han Li sat beside the fire, staring into the flames. We may fail because we helped a wild animal. Qiao Ming fed his rock boar from a grain pouch. We might. You don't mind? I mind. Qiao Ming shrugged. I just think I'd mind leaving it more. Mei Shu adjusted the blanket. Over her frost, Phoenix's resting wings. The mission tests judgment. It tests results, Han Lai said. Lin Yuan looked toward the cave. Those aren't always different. Han Lai glanced at him. You always have an answer. No. I usually have a guess. Then, here is mine. The fire reflected in Han Lai's eyes. Power exists so you don't have to choose between success and helping someone. Lin Yuan considered the statement. Maybe. You'd disagree again. I think greater. Power gives you larger choices. He added another branch to the fire. It doesn't remove the cost. Han Lai fell silent. During the night, Mochi woke Lin Yuan by biting gently at his sleeve. The fire had burned low. Mist pressed against the campsite. Mochi stared into the darkness. Its ears were rigid. Lin Yuan heard nothing at first. Then came a distant clicking sound, repeated, moving closer. He woke the others without speaking. Mei Shui's phoenix rose silently. Han Li's lion bared its teeth. The clicking multiplied. Shapes emerged between the trees. Mist crawlers, low-level pack beasts with pale shells and long-jointed legs, individually weak, dangerous in numbers. They were following the smell of blood from the wounded hare. At least 20 surrounded the campsite. Master Gu remained near the cave entrance, hands folded behind his back. Still no intervention. Han Li stepped forward. I'll burn a path. Not near the cave, Mei Shu said. Smoke could suffocate the kits. My lion can control the flames. Can it control panic trawlers running through them? Another clicking wave moved through the yawn. Trees. The pack tightened. Lin Yuan examined the terrain they had chosen. Rock wall behind. Narrow stream to the east. Dense roots to the west. One open approach. They had selected the position for safety from large beasts. It could become a trap against numbers. We don't need to defeat all of them, Lin Yuan said. Han Lai looked back. They won't leave while they smell blood. Then we change what they smell. Lin Yuan opened the remaining ashroot extract. Han Li frowned. That's expensive. We'll fail for certain if we save it. Lin Yuan mixed the sharp-smelling liquid with damp leaves and placed them in several cloth bundles. Mai Sui understood. Heat the bundles. The crimson flame lion breathed controlled sparks across them. Bitter smoke spread through the campsite. The mist crawlers recoiled. Not enough to flee, enough to hesitate. Lin Yuan teed the smoking bundles to cords. Qiao Ming's rock boar dragged 2 along the western routes. Mei Xui's phoenix carried another east over the stream. The scent spread in different directions. The pack divided. Some followed the stronger trails away from the cave. Others remained. Han Lai and his lion met the first group directly. Flames swept low across the ground, forcing the creatures into a narrow lane without burning the forest. Mai Sui froze the mud beneath them. The front crawlers slipped. Those behind collided. Qiao Ming's rock boar struck their exposed sides and rolled them away from the cave. Lin Yuan remained near the injured hare. Mochi crouched beside him. A crawler broke through the line. Its pale limbs carried it over the others. It leaped toward the cave. Lin Yuan raised his baton. Too far. Too fast. Mochi's eyes flashed. A golden thread tore from the crawler itself. Brighter than any Lin Yuan had seen before. The creature's front leg struck a root hidden beneath the mist. Its body twisted in the air. Lin Yuan stepped forward and hit the exposed joint. The crawler crashed beside him. Mochi hissed. The sound was small, The reaction was not. The fallen crawler froze. For a heartbeat, its many eyes reflected ancient golden light. Then it scrambled backward, clicking in panic. The rest of the pack reacted. Not to Lin Yuan. To Mochi. Their formation broke. The mist crawlers fled into the forest. Silence returned slowly. Han Lai extinguished the remaining flames. Qiuming leaned against his rock boar, breathing hard. Mai Shui looked toward the tiny kitten. What did it do? Lin Yuan looked down. Mochi swayed once. The bright thread it had stolen had not faded gently like the others. It pulsed beneath its fur. The kitten's legs gave way. Lin Yuan caught it. Mochi. Its eyes remained open but unfocused. Master Gu moved for the first time. He crossed the campsite and placed 2 fingers beneath the kitten's jaw. Overexertion. Lin Yuan's hands tightened. From using its ability? Most likely. How do we stop it? We allow the energy to settle. Master Gu looked at him sharply. Do allow the energy to settle. Master Gu looked at him sharply. Not force it to act again. Lin Yuan carried Mochi beside the fire. The kitten's body felt hotter with every minute. Golden light appeared beneath its skin in irregular pulses. The fortune taken from the mist crawler had been different. The earlier threads were tiny. This one had been ripped away during danger. Too much. Too quickly. Lin Yuan remembered his first rule. Do not steal what you do not understand. He had not ordered Mochi to do it. That did not reduce the guilt. Mochi had acted to protect him and the nest. Near dawn, the silverback hare emerged from the cave. Its injured leg still dragged, but the venom had receded. It approached Mochi cautiously. A faint silver glow gathered around its whiskers. The hare pressed its forehead against the kitten's side. Something warm passed between them, not fortune. Gratitude carried through the natural bond between guardian creatures. Mochi's breathing steadied. The golden pulses slowed. Its fur began to change. The gray patches along its back brightened at the edges. Thin gold lines appeared through them like sunlight beneath clouds. Its torn ear remained. Its body remained small. But when Mochi opened its eyes, the color within them had deepened. The gold no longer resembled reflected light. It looked like something alive. A symbol appeared briefly above its forehead. A circular mark crossed by 3 delicate lines. Master Gu's expression changed. The unfinished record in his archive flashed through his mind. Guardian. Fortune. Never. Mochi stood. It took 1 step toward Lin Yuan, then immediately collapsed against his chest and began purring. Qiuming laughed with relief. It evolved. Mei Shui watched the faint golden markings fade into Mochi's fur. From protecting us? Master Gu answered carefully. Guardian evolution rarely has one cause. Lin Yuan stroked Mochi's head. Training. Trust. Shared danger. A choice made without selfish purpose. Whatever had triggered the change, the evolution had not turned Mochi into an overwhelming combat beast. Its claws remained tiny. Its body remained light. But Lin Yuan could feel the difference through their bond. Fortune no longer moved through the kitten like scattered sparks. It gathered around a clear center. More stable. More precise. Mochi looked toward the silverback hare. Mochi looked toward the silverback hare. A golden thread appeared between them. This time, it did not pull. It waited. The hare lowered its head. A tiny silver-gold fragment crossed willingly into Mochi. The exchange carried no weakness. The hare remained steady. Lin Yuan understood only part of what had happened. Mochi had not stolen fortune. It had received it. A new application. Perhaps fortune theft was not limited to taking. Before Lin Yuan could study it further, the silverback hare returned to the cave and emerged carrying something in its mouth. A 4th Moonveil herb. Freshly uprooted. It placed the herb before Lin Yuan. Han Lai stared. Qiuming slowly smiled. Mai Shui said, now we have 3. Lin Yuan looked toward the cave. 2 herbs had been used to save the mother. 1 remained beside the nest. The team had gathered 2 earlier. The gifted herb completed the mission. They had not lost success by helping. Their choice had created another path to it. Han Lai crouched and picked up the herb. For once he had no argument. The return journey should have been simple. It was not. Heavy rain reached Mistwood Valley before noon. The western ridge became unsafe. The central route remained occupied by clawhorn elk. The lower basin still concealed the Mistjaw crocodile. The team had to choose a longer northern path through unstable ground. Master Gu allowed them to decide. Mei Shui sent her phoenix above the canopy whenever gaps appeared. Han Li used controlled heat to dry ropes and prevent the group from losing body temperature. Qiuming's rock boar tested the mud before anyone stepped forward. Lin Yuan monitored tracks, slopes, and drainage. Mochi rested in his hood for most of the day. Its evolution had stabilized, but exhaustion remained. Near the northern exit, they heard a scream. not from their team. Another academy group had attempted to cross a rain-swollen ravine. The rope bridge had broken. 2 students remained on the near side. 3 were stranded on a narrow rock shelf across the water. Their supervising instructor had been injured while preventing 1 student from falling into the current. A fallen tree pressed against his leg. The ravine continued filling. Master Gu finally stepped forward. Before he could issue an order, Han Lai spoke. We helped them. No one disagreed. The situation offered no clean solution. The Frost Phoenix could fly across, but could not carry 3 students through heavy rain. The Crimson Flame Lion could burn the fallen tree, but wet wood and the instructor's trapped leg made that dangerous. The rock boar possessed enough strength to move the trunk, but the muddy bank would collapse beneath its weight. Lin Yuan studied the ravine. Broken bridge ropes, 2 standing trees, a sloped rock face, floodwater carrying branches downstream. We need 2 lines, he said. 1 to secure the shelf, 1 to move people. Qiao Ming opened the expedition rope. Not enough length. We used the bridge ropes. They're across the ravine. Mei Shui looked at her phoenix. It can retrieve them. Not while carrying the lion through this wind. Han Li examined the far bank. My lion can jump part way. And land where? Mei Shui asked. Lin Yuan watched the water. Fortune theft could create an opening. But Mochi was weak from evolution. He would not ask. A large branch struck the rock shelf and spun away. Another followed. The current naturally carried debris near the stranded students before curving toward the near bank. Lin Yuan pointed upstream. We don't need to throw the rope across. He tied one end around a thick branch, weighted it with stones, and pushed it into the current from higher ground. The branch swept toward the shelf, too far left. 1 stranded student reached but missed it. They tried again. The second branch overturned. The rope snagged on submerged rock and snapped free. Rain intensified. The injured instructor's face had turned pale. Han Lai looked toward Mochi. Lin Yuan saw the question. No. Han Lai nodded once. He did not argue. Third attempt. Lin Yuan changed the branch's weight distribution and tied strips of cloth along one side to create drag. Mei Shui froze a small section of upstream water, altering the current. Han Li heated the rope so it remained flexible rather than waterlogged. Qiao Ming's rock boar braced the line. They released it. The branch entered the current. For several seconds it followed the intended path. Then the ice upstream cracked earlier than Mei Shui expected. A surge pushed the branch away from the shelf. Mochi lifted its head from Lin Yuan's hood. No, Lin Yuan whispered. The kitten did not draw fortune. It gave something. The silver gold fragment received from the hair left Mochi and moved into the current. A submerged stone shifted beneath the flood. The change was tiny. Water curled around it differently. The branch swung back. 1 stranded student caught the rope. Lin Yuan felt Mochi go limp against his shoulder, but the kitten remained conscious. The far group secured the first line around a rock pillar. The phoenix crossed above it, carrying the lighter second rope without being blown off course. Within minutes, they created a suspended crossing. The stranded students clipped themselves to the safety line and moved 1 at a time. The final student reached the near bank as part of the rock shelf broke into the ravine. Then came the instructor. Qiao Ming's rock boar could not approach the muddy edge, so the team built a track beneath its feet using fallen branches and flat stones. Han Li's lion heated the trapped tree gradually, drying and weakening one section without igniting it. Mei Shui froze the mud around the instructor's leg to prevent further movement. The rock boar pulled. The trunk shifted. The instructor came free. By the time Academy rescue patrols arrived, every student was safe. The expedition deadline passed during the rescue. Both teams returned after sunset. At the outer gate, an administrator collected their mission pouches. He examined the 3 Moonveil herbs. Objective completed. Deadline failed. Han Lai stepped forward. We stopped for the ravine rescue. The report will record the circumstances. Then we still pass. The examination board decides. Han Lai's frustration returned. Lin Yuan placed one hand on his shoulder. Han Lai looked at it, then at him. Neither spoke. They had chosen together. They would accept the result together. The examination board announced its decision the following morning. Both teams passed. Not because the deadline had been ignored. Because completing a field mission while abandoning endangered Academy members would have violated the purpose of the test. The rescued instructor submitted a formal commendation. So did Master Go. The report named every student's contribution. Mei Sui's control, Qiao Ming's reliability, Han Lai's power and restraint, Lin Yuan's planning. Mochi's newly recorded evolution caused the greatest discussion. The Academy reclassified the kitten. Not lowest rank, unknown rank. The change satisfied no one. Researchers could not identify its lineage. Appraisers detected no standard elemental affinity. Combat examiners still measured almost no physical threat. Yet the evolution itself could not be denied. Students gathered outside the appraisal hall when Lin Yuan emerged. Some wanted to see the golden markings. Others asked whether Mochi had awakened a combat skill. Mochi answered by stealing a meat bun from Kiao Ming's hand and escaping beneath a bench. The crowd laughed. Lin Yuan crouched to retrieve both kitten and bun. Han Li stood nearby. You saved fortune for the branch. Lin Yuan looked up. What? Whatever your guardian does. Han Li kept his voice low. You could have used it sooner, during the fight. During the crossing, Lin Yuan did not confirm the ability. Mochi had already overexerted itself, but it acted at the end. That wasn't the same. Han Li studied him. Then he nodded. You don't need to explain. That was the first time he had chosen trust over certainty. The Academy scheduled the formal tournament championship rematch 1 week later. The original tournament had determined expedition placements, but the final ranking trials included challenge rights. Any top 4 student could challenge someone above them after completing the field examination. Lin Yuan held 3rd place after evaluation scores were combined. Mai Shui remained 2nd. Han Li remained 1st. Lin Yuan submitted 1 challenge. Han Li accepted immediately. The announcement filled the central arena beyond capacity. Their first true match had become inevitable in the minds of everyone who had watched them grow. Raw power against preparation. The Academy's most celebrated guardian beast against the creature once recorded as its weakest. Master Gu met Lin Yuan before the match. Do you believe you can win? Yes. Why? Because Han Li believes I need terrain. Master Gu waited. He thinks my strategies depend on objects already present, Lin Yuan continued. So he requested open ground. The arena selection had been chosen by the defender. A flat circular platform. No trees, no ruins, no water, no cover. Master Gu looked toward the entrance. And does that concern you? It simplifies the possibilities. The old instructor smiled faintly. Good. Han Li entered first. The Crimson Flame Lion had grown larger since Awakening Day. Fire moved through its mane in steady waves rather than wild bursts. The crowd greeted it with roaring applause. Lin Yuan entered carrying no visible equipment except his wooden baton and a narrow belt pouch. Mochi walked beside him. The kitten's evolved markings remained hidden until light struck its fur at certain angles. Han Li stood across the empty arena. No traps. Fewer traps? Lin Yuan corrected. Han Li laughed. Good. The barrier arose. The signal sounded. The Crimson Flame Lion attacked immediately. Not with a charge, with fire. A low wave spread across the platform, cutting off Lin Yuan's left side. Han Li moved right, controlling the remaining path. He had studied Lin Yuan. The first attack did not seek a point. It reduced choices. Lin Yuan retreated. Mochi followed close to his heels. A second flame wave crossed behind them. The available space narrowed. The lion remained outside baton range. Han Li did not overcommit. He gave Lin Yuan no careless opening. Exactly as expected. Lin Yuan removed a handful of black powder from his pouch and scattered it. Han Li recognized ground marker dust. The powder revealed air currents and movement across surfaces. On empty stone, it seemed useless. The lion released another controlled burst. The hot air lifted the powder into a dark cloud. For 1 second, the particles revealed the shape of the flame before it reached full intensity. Lin Yuan moved through the only cool gap. Han Li adjusted. The lion swiped. Lin Yuan blocked with his baton. The impact threw him backward. The barrier flashed. First point to Han Li. The crowd erupted. Lin Yuan's arm went numb. Han Li did not celebrate. Your prediction was right, he said. You still couldn't avoid it. I didn't need to. Han Li's eyes narrowed. The baton had struck the lion's foreleg during the block. Not hard enough to score. Enough to leave black powder across its fur. The second exchange began. The lion attacked with greater caution. Lin Yuan scattered more powder, but this time Han Li used heat to disperse it before closing. Mochi's eyes moved across the arena. There were no birds, no insects, no small creatures. The Academy barriers had cleared the platform. Just as Maishui's frozen arena had starved fortune theft, Han Li knew. He might not understand the mechanic, but he had noticed the pattern during the field mission. Lin Yuan had planned for that too. Now, he said. Mochi focused on the Crimson Flame Lion. The guardian beast was not a harmless sparrow. Taking fortune from it carried risk. Lin Yuan did not ask for a large amount. Only the smallest thread. Mochi's evolved control answered. A thin golden strand drifted from the lion. It noticed. Its burning mane flared. Han Li felt the bond react. What did you do? Created a possibility. The lion advanced. Lin Yuan watched the black powder on its foreleg. Heat currents pulled the particles in different directions before every flame burst. A warning. Not enough to avoid everything. Enough to move earlier. The next wave missed by a hand's width. Lin Yuan closed distance. Han Li stepped between him and the lion. He had anticipated the approach. Their wooden batons collided. Han Li possessed more strength. Lin Yuan released his weapon. Han Li's strike passed through empty resistance, pulling his shoulder forward. Lin Yuan caught the falling baton with his other hand and tapped Han Li's ribs. First point to Lin Yuan. The arena shook with noise. Han Li stepped back, then smiled. Better. The third exchange became faster. Han Li abandoned broad flame control and attacked through coordinated movement. The lion pressured from one side, Han Li from the other. Lin Yuan could predict one, not both. Mochi remained between moving lines of fire, responding to hand signals with precision. Lin Yuan blocked Han Li. The lion turned. Black powder shifted before its flame. Lin Yuan ducked. Han Li's baton changed direction and struck Lin Yuan's shoulder. Second point to Han Li. Before the barrier separated them, Mochi darted forward and touched one paw to the lion's blackened foreleg. A faint golden pulse passed between them. Not theft, a mark. Han Li noticed nothing. The fourth exchange began with Lin Yuan 1 point from defeat. He took 3 small wooden discs from his pouch and rolled them across the platform. Han Li watched them carefully. No traps? Not yet. The discs stopped at different distances. The lion burned one. Nothing happened. Han Li ignored the others. Lin Yuan moved toward the nearest disc. The lion cut him off. He changed direction toward the second. Han Li followed. The pattern became clear. Lin Yuan was using the discs as decision points, forcing Han Li to consider possible traps. Han Li attacked instead of waiting. The correct response. Flame crossed the platform. Lin Yuan stepped onto one disc. It cracked. A folded strip of reflective metal opened beneath his weight. Firelight flashed into the lion's eyes. The creature turned its head by instinct. One heartbeat. Lin Yuan moved past it. Han Li intercepted. Their batons struck. Lin Yuan lost the exchange in strength again. But he had not been aiming for Han Li. Mochi reached the marked foreleg. The golden pulse activated. The tiny fragment of fortune stolen earlier returned to the lion in a sudden burst. For the Guardian, it became fortunate. Its paw landed on a section of stone untouched by loose powder. Its balance improved. Its body turned more smoothly than Han Li expected. The lion's flank collided with its master. Han Li stumbled sideways. Lin Yuan tapped his chest. Second point. Silence struck the arena before the cheers arrived. Han Li stared at his guardian. The lion had not slipped. It had moved too well. The fortunate step had disrupted their practiced timing. Lin Yuan had turned good fortune into an opening against them. Han Li slowly understood. You gave it back. Lin Yuan did not answer. Mochi returned to his side. The final exchange would decide everything. Han Li placed one hand against the crimson flame lion's mane. The beast steadied. Their bond synchronized. No anger, no impatience, only focus. Lin Yuan saw the difference. His earlier plans had relied on Han Li reacting emotionally. That weakness was gone. The final signal sounded. The lion's flames expanded across the entire arena. Not as an uncontrolled explosion, as a ring. Han Li closed every route except forward. He challenged Lin Yuan to cross the strongest point. The audience rose. Lin Yuan ran. Mochi remained at his side. Heat struck them. The black powder on the lion's leg had burned away. The discs were gone. The baton in Lin Yuan's hand could not block fire. No prepared object remained. Han Li stood behind the flame line, ready for whatever survived it. Mochi looked toward Lin Yuan. Their bond carried no words, only trust. Lin Yuan did not ask the kitten to steal more fortune. He had already prepared the final condition. The narrow belt pouch at his waist contained one last item. A moon veil seed, collected legally from the Academy herb after the expedition report. Small, alive, dormant. Enough. Mochi touched the seed through the cloth. A golden thread emerged. Tiny beyond sight, the fortune within a seed was not strength. It was possibility. The chance to take root, to survive weather, to find soil, to become something larger. Mochi borrowed only a fragment. The flame ring shifted. Not extinguished, not broken. A rising current of hot air lifted one edge slightly higher than the rest. An ordinary variation. Lin Yuan had spent the previous week studying the crimson flame lion's fire patterns. He recognized the gap before it existed. He dropped low and slid beneath the raised edge. Heat scorched his sleeve. The barrier did not flash. Han Li attacked the instant Lin Yuan emerged. Lin Yuan expected the strike. He turned his baton sideways and accepted the impact. Wood cracked. His weapon split. Han Li drove forward. Lin Yuan released both broken halves. One fell. Han Li's eyes followed it for the smallest fraction of a second. Lin Yuan stepped inside his guard. Han Li recovered and raised his free arm. The crimson flame lion turned to strike from behind. Mochi crossed its path. The tiny kitten could not stop it. It did not try. Mochi leaped onto the lion's nose. The great beast froze in astonishment. Mochi tapped its forehead once, then jumped away. The interruption lasted less than a heartbeat. Lin Yuan touched 2 fingers to Han Lai's chest. The barrier flashed. 3rd point, match complete. For several seconds no one moved. Then the central arena erupted. Students shouted Lin Yuan's name. Qiao Ming nearly fell over the railing. Mike Sui stood among the finalists, watching with a rare smile. Master Gu closed his eyes briefly, not in surprise, in satisfaction. Han Lai looked down at the place Lin Yuan had touched, then toward his crimson flame lion. Mochi sat several steps away, tail wrapped neatly around its paws. The lion sneezed. A small flame burst from its nose. Mochi jumped backward in alarm. Laughter swept through the arena. Han Lai began laughing too. The tension left his shoulders. He extended one hand. You won. Lin Yuan accepted it. By one opening. That's usually enough. Han Lai looked toward the broken baton. You knew I would choose open ground. I hoped. You brought a living seed because you knew there would be nothing else for your guardian to draw from. Lin Yuan nodded. Han Lai exhaled. So even your luck needed preparation. Especially my luck. The academy principal entered the arena to present the first-year ranking badge. Lin Yuan accepted it with Mochi on his shoulder. Weeks earlier, the same academy had recorded the kitten as the lowest-ranked guardian beast in its history. Now no one laughed when its name was announced. Mochi, unknown guardian classification. First evolution confirmed. The applause grew louder. Lin Yuan looked across the stands. Some students admired him. Some remained skeptical. Others had already begun studying his methods, hoping to imitate them. That did not concern him. They could copy his tools. They could study his movements. They could even prepare against fortune theft without understanding its name. His true strength was not a secret technique. It was the partnership that had taught him how to use opportunity without depending upon it. That evening, the first-year team gathered beneath the old academy tree. Qiao Ming brought food. Mike Sui brought medicinal cream for Lin Yuan's burned sleeve and arm. Han Lai brought nothing, then claimed he had only come to retrieve his lion when it sat beside the others. Mochi stole 2 pieces of fish and attempted a 3rd. Lin Yuan caught it. You evolved, not your stomach. Mochi meowed indignantly. The crimson flame lion lowered its enormous head. Mochi placed one paw on its nose. This time the lion did not sneeze. Mike Sui watched them. Your guardian returned something during the match. Lin Yuan met her gaze. She had seen more than he expected. I think it can. Fortune? Han Lai asked the word quietly. Lin Yuan looked toward Master Gu, who stood some distance away beneath the garden lanterns. The old instructor gave no signal. The choice belonged to Lin Yuan. He turned back to the 3 students who had fought beside him in Mistwood Valley. I don't understand it completely. Then he told them the part he knew. Mochi could draw tiny fragments of favorable possibility from living creatures. Those fragments could influence ordinary events. They could not create impossibilities. They could not guarantee victory. Preparation made them more useful. Overuse harmed Mochi. And after its evolution, the kitten appeared capable of returning or gifting fortune as well as taking it. No one interrupted. When he finished, Qiao Ming looked at Mochi with wonder. Han Lai looked thoughtful. Mai Sui asked the most important question. What happens to the creature that loses its fortune? I don't know. Lin Yuan rested one hand on Mochi's back. That's why I only allow small amounts. Never repeatedly from the same target. Never more than we need. Han Lai glanced toward the arena. You took from my lion a tiny fragment, and returned it. Yes. The crimson flame lion rested peacefully beside him. Han Li nodded. Then we're even. Mei Shui did not appear fully reassured. You need to learn the cost. I know. Will help. The word surprised Lin Yuan more than the offer itself. Not I. We. Qiao Ming agreed immediately. Han Li looked away as though the decision had nothing to do with him. If his strange cat damages my lion, I need to understand why. Mochi climbed into Lin Yuan's lap and curled into a ball. The 4 students remained beneath the tree until the academy lamps dimmed. Their relationships had begun through rivalry, doubt, and circumstance. Now they possessed a shared secret, and a shared responsibility. Deep beneath them, the golden rune in the forgotten chamber brightened. A second ring of symbols awakened around the altar. Dust slid from an ancient mural. The image beneath showed a line of beasts bowing before a small figure with golden eyes. At the center of the chamber, something moved behind a wall of black stone. A voice older than the academy passed through the darkness. The bearer has learned restraint. Another voice answered from farther below. Restraint does not prevent corruption. The trial has only begun. The light faded before either presence could fully awaken. Above ground, Lin Yuan carried Mochi back toward the dormitory. The first-year ranking badge rested in his pocket. Students greeted him as he passed. Some called him champion. Others called Mochi lucky. Lin Yuan accepted neither title too seriously. At the dormitory steps, he looked toward the distant city wall. Beyond it lay Mistwood Valley. Beyond that, countless regions no academy map had fully recorded. His victory over Hanlai had proven only one thing. The path before him was real. Not easy. Not safe. But real. Mochi raised its head from his shoulder. Golden markings shimmered faintly through its fur. We'll keep learning, Lin Yuan said. The kitten pressed its forehead against his cheek. This time, when fortune stirred quietly around them, Lin Yuan did not mistake it for destiny. It was only an opportunity. What they became would depend on what they chose to do with it. The following morning, Lin Yuan learned that becoming the Academy's first-year champion changed less than people imagined. The training bell still rang before sunrise. Master Gu still expected him on the eastern field. Mochi still refused to wake without being carried. The ranking badge opened doors, but it did not shorten the distance between Lin Yuan and the people already stronger than him. Master Gu placed 4 wooden posts in a square and tied a bell between them. Today, you would begin again, Lin Yuan set Mochi on the grass. I thought winning the tournament meant I had improved. You have. Master Gu tightened one cord. That is why your previous weaknesses are no longer enough. He handed Lin Yuan a blindfold. You're handed Lin Yuan a blindfold. Opponents now know how you fight. Lin Yuan covered his eyes. The field disappeared. The bell rang once. He moved toward the sound. A wooden staff struck his ankle. He stumbled. Another bell rang behind him. Lin Yuan turned. The staff touched his shoulder. Dead, Master Gu said. Lin Yuan removed the blindfold. Thin cords crossed the square at different heights. Some led to the bell. Others led nowhere. You taught me to create information before uncertainty begins. I did. This exercise removes information? No. Master Go pointed toward the grass. You simply relied on the wrong kind. Lin Yuan studied the square again. Bent blades beneath one cord. A small depression near another. One post casting a longer shadow. The information had been present before the blindfold. He had failed to record it. Master Gu reset the exercise. Prepared people do not wait for danger before observing. Lin Yuan memorized the field. Distances, wind direction, cord height. The position of every post. He replaced the blindfold. This time, when the bell rang, he moved according to memory. The first cord brushed his sleeve. He adjusted. The staff swept toward his ribs. Lin Yuan heard the grass shift and stepped back. The strike missed. He reached the bell. Master Gu rang another. A second staff touched the back of his neck. Dead again. Lin Yuan sighed. Mochi sat outside the square, watching with quiet satisfaction. Master Gu removed the blindfold. You prepared for the field. Not for you. Correct. The old instructor walked away. Tomorrow, prepare for both. The weeks after the tournament became harder than those before it. Recognition brought invitations. Senior students requested practice matches. Instructors asked Lin Yuan to demonstrate tactical exercises. Academy researchers submitted formal requests to examine Mochi. He declined the last group until Master Gu negotiated strict conditions. No invasive testing. No forced ability use. No removal from Lin Yuan's presence. No attempt to provoke evolution. The Academy accepted reluctantly. The first examination confirmed little. Mochi's body contained no measurable elemental core. Its physical strength remained barely above that of an ordinary kitten. Its bond channel, however, behaved differently from every known guardian beast. Most guardian bonds transferred energy in 2 directions. Master to beast, beast to master. Mochi's bond produced a third pattern, a faint circular current that passed through the surrounding environment before returning. The researchers named it an external resonance loop. Lin Yuan understood it more simply. Mochi did not act only upon him. It acted upon possibility around them. The tests also revealed a limitation he had already suspected. Fortune faded. A small fragment disappeared within minutes. A stronger fragment lasted longer, but became unstable if held without purpose. Mochi could not accumulate luck indefinitely. That discovery relieved Lin Yuan. Unlimited storage would have made restraint nearly impossible. A limited reserve forced decisions. It also made every use temporary. He added another rule to his notebook. Fortune must be used before it decays, but urgency must never become waste. Mei Shui joined several examinations. Her Frost Phoenix provided a stable comparison because its bond was well documented. Han Lai attended only after claiming he wanted to ensure the researchers did not damage a tournament rival before their rematch. Qiao Ming brought snacks. Mochi considered him the most useful member of the research team. The 4 first years began training together twice a week. Their strengths did not fit naturally at first. Han Lai preferred decisive action. Mei Shui preferred control. Qiao Ming protected space. Lin Yuan created openings. Their first team exercise ended in failure. They were tasked with defending 3 flags against a senior academy squad. Han Lai pursued the first attacker. Mei Shui sealed the central route. Qiao Ming guarded the nearest flag. Lin Yuan attempted to redirect the remaining opponents. The seniors ignored the obvious paths, split into pairs, and stole 2 flags within minutes. Afterward, Han Lai blamed the formation. Mei Shui blamed his pursuit. Qiao Ming blamed himself for not moving sooner. Lin Yuan blamed the plan. We built it around what each of us does alone. Han Lai crossed his arms. What else would we build it around? What we let the others do. The next attempt changed everything. Qiao Ming and his rock boar anchored the center, but did not remain still. Mei Shui froze in narrow lanes that guided attackers toward him. Han Lai waited instead of pursuing. When the seniors committed to avoiding the lion, Lin Yuan used false openings to push them into Mei Shui's controlled routes. They still lost 1 flag. They kept 2. Master Gu considered it progress. Strong teams do not remove individual strengths, he told them. They make those strengths more difficult to answer. Lin Yuan began applying the same principle to fortune theft. Mochi's ability did not need to solve a battle. It needed to improve what the team already did. A favorable shift in wind extended Mei Shui's frost. A loose stone disrupted an enemy moving around Qiao Ming. A momentary hesitation allowed Han Lai's lion to close distance. The smaller the intervention, the harder it became to detect. The more prepared the team, the less fortune they needed. Their next major assessment came at the beginning of the autumn term. Azure Guardian Academy hosted the provincial first-year trials. 6 academies sent their strongest students to compete in combat, survival, team strategy, and guardian development. The event mattered beyond prestige. High-ranking teams gained access to advanced training grounds, rare resources, and provincial expeditions. Azure Guardian Academy had not won the overall trials in 7 years. This year, Han Lai and Mei Shui gave the instructors hope. Lin Yuan made the other academies nervous. Reports of the weakest guardian beast defeating the academy's strongest student had spread quickly. Most versions were exaggerated. Some claimed Mochi controlled fate. Others claimed Lin Yuan could curse opponents. One academy newspaper described him as the stray cat strategist. Han Lai found the title hilarious. Lin Yuan found it inconvenient. Mochi responded by sleeping through the opening ceremony. The trials took place at White River Citadel, a vast training complex built around an artificial wilderness zone. Stone walls divided forests, marshes, ruins, and open plains. Projection barriers allowed spectators to observe without interfering. The first event tested guardian coordination. Each team had to transport a fragile crystal through an obstacle route without touching it directly. Han Li's lion could carry weight but risked overheating the crystal. Mei Shui's phoenix could move it safely through the air but struggled inside, in closed passages. Qiao Ming's rock boar provided stability. Mochi contributed almost nothing visible. Lin Yuan designed the route around transitions. The phoenix carried the crystal across open sections. The rock boar pushed a suspended platform through tunnels. The flame lion melted obstacles without approaching the crystal. Mochi drew tiny fragments of fortune from insects living along the route. At one junction, a hanging mechanism jammed. Lin Yuan did not spend fortune immediately. He inspected it. A pin had shifted beneath tension. Qiao Ming lifted the frame. Mei Shui froze the bent section. Han Lai heated the outer ring. Only then did Mochi release a fragment. The metal settled into alignment. The mechanism opened. They completed the course second. A team from Ironwood Academy finished first through overwhelming efficiency. Their captain, Ren Tao, had bonded with a golden horned mammoth. The beast moved the crystal platform through most obstacles by force, while 2 teammates stabilized it. Ren Tao watched Atsura's team finish and smiled without warmth. So that's the famous cat. Mochi was chewing the ribbon attached to Lin Yuan's participant badge. Lin Yuan removed it gently. That's Mochi. I expected something more impressive. So did everyone. Ren Tao looked toward Han Lai. You lost to him? Han Lai stepped closer. Yes, the direct answer removed the insult. Ren Tao's smile faded slightly. Then I'll see whether Azure's champion survives the combat rounds. The individual combat event began that afternoon. Lin Yuan's first opponent came from Riverstone Academy. Her guardian beast, a mirror mantis, created reflective surfaces that distorted distance. The arena contained standing stone slabs. Within seconds, copies of the mantis appeared across every surface. Lin Yuan could not determine which attack was real. The first strike cut his sleeve. The second touched his back, 2 points against him. The audience expected a quick defeat. Lin Yuan stopped watching the reflections. He watched the dust. Every false image moved without disturbing the ground. The real mantis displaced air and grit. He scattered powder low rather than high. The next attack revealed a single trail. Lin Yuan avoided it and scored his first point. His opponent adjusted by keeping the mantis above the ground. Lin Yuan responded by tying 2 cords between stone slabs. The false images passed through them. The real body disturbed them. Second point. On the final exchange, the mirror mantis shattered several reflective surfaces and filled the arena with fragments. Every shard created another image. Mochi stole a tiny thread from the mantis. A fragment of stone fell at an unexpected angle. It reflected the true body from below. Lin Yuan saw one real shadow among dozens of false ones. He moved. Third point. The victory brought more attention than the Academy tournament had. This time, students from across the province began studying him. His second opponent prepared specifically. A sand viper master coated the arena in shifting grit, removing stable footholds and hiding movement trails. The viper attacked from beneath the surface. Lin Yuan lost the first point before he identified its pattern. He placed cords across the sand. The viper moved beneath them without touching. He scattered powder. The sand swallowed it. He waited for fortune. Mochi drew a fragment from a beetle near the barrier. A gust disturbed the arena. The sand changed shape. A faint ridge appeared where the viper moved. Lin Yuan gained 1 point. His opponent immediately summoned a larger sand wave, erasing every ridge. The viper struck from below. Second point against Lin Yuan. He could not build information fast enough. On the final exchange, he used his own movement as bait. He ran across the arena in a deliberate rhythm. The viper followed from beneath. At the last moment, Lin Yuan stopped on ground, already disturbed by its earlier attack. The creature expected him to continue. It emerged too far ahead. Lin Yuan struck. Second point. The final exchange lasted several minutes. Neither side gained control. Then Mochi's stored fortune decayed. Lin Yuan felt the bond empty. No opening came. The viper changed its rhythm. Lin Yuan misread the movement. The strike touched his ankle. Match complete. He lost. The defeat removed him from the individual combat bracket. Hanli found him behind the arena, writing in his notebook. "You're calm. I lost because my information failed. You also lost because your opponent was good." "That goes in the notebook too." Hanli sat beside him. His own match would begin soon. "Do you regret not stealing more fortune?" "Yes." Lin Yuan closed the notebook. "And no." Hanli waited. "If we had taken more from the viper, maybe I would have won. But I don't know how much harm that would cause. So you accepted defeat." "I accepted the limit." Hanli looked toward the arena entrance. "I used to think limits were excuses weak people made." "What changed?" Mistwood Valley. He flexed one eye. "And my lion could have burned through the crawlers. It also could have burned the nest, the forest, and us." The announcement called his name. Hanli stood. Power that ignores limits is just another kind of weakness. He entered the arena. He won in under 3 minutes. Meixue advanced farther than either of them. She reached the semifinal before losing to Ren Tao. The golden-horned mammoth resisted her ice and broke through every controlled lane she created. Ren Tao never rushed. He used weight, patience, and steady pressure. Meixue fought perfectly and still lost. Afterward, she remained alone beside the practice pools until Lin Yuan found her. The frost phoenix stood in shallow water, cooling its bruised wings. "I knew how he would attack," Meixue said. Lin Yuan sat on the stone edge. "You stopped him several times. Not enough." "No." She looked at him. "You're supposed to say something comforting." "I thought you preferred accurate answers." "I do." The corner of her mouth moved, barely. Lin Yuan watched the phoenix flex one wing. The mammoth's left foreleg slowed after the fourth exchange. "I noticed. You attacked the right. Because the left was bait, was it?" Meixue considered. Ren Tao had expected her to target weakness. The slower leg may have concealed a prepared counter. She had avoided it. Perhaps correctly. Perhaps not. "I don't know," she admitted. "That's what the next match is for." She looked toward him. "You make losing sound temporary." "It should be." The team strategy event began the next morning. Each academy received a fortified position, 3 supply markers, and a central objective crystal. Teams earned points by defending their own resources. capturing others, and holding the central crystal. The field contained 6 bases around a wide forested basin. No team could win through direct combat alone. Azure's instructors selected Lin Yuan as field leader. Han Lai objected for exactly 3 seconds. Then he said, "Fine. But if the plan is bad, I'm ignoring it." Mei Shui answered before Lin Yuan. "If the plan is bad, we all should." Qiaoming nodded. Lin Yuan accepted the condition. They entered the field with no intention of taking the central crystal early. Ironwood Academy seized it within the first 10 minutes. Ren Tao positioned his mammoth at the basin center and forced other teams to attack through narrow paths. 2 academies attempted direct assaults. Both failed. Azure used the distraction to capture an undefended supply marker from Riverstone. Lin Yuan left no one there. Instead, he planted false tracks suggesting Azure planned to establish a secondary base. Riverstone diverted 2 students to retake it. Azure had already moved. Han Lai wanted to attack Ironwood's rear line. Lin Yuan refused. Ren Tao expects it. He can't defend every direction. He doesn't need to. He only needs us to commit before the others. They waited. The team from Mist Academy launched a coordinated attack from the north. Ren Tao shifted his support team. Lin Yuan sent Mei Shui east. Her phoenix froze a shallow stream leading toward Ironwood's base. She did not cross it. She withdrew. Ren Tao saw the ice route and redirected 1 defender. Han Lai smiled. A path they think exists. Azure struck west instead. Qiaoming's rock boar broke through a supply barrier. Han Lai's lion forced the defender away. They captured Ironwood's outer marker and retreated before Ren Tao could respond. The central mammoth remained in place. Ironwood still led. The event entered its final hour. Every academy had lost at least 1 marker. 2 had been eliminated. Azure held its base and 2 captured supplies. Ironwood held the central crystal and 1 remaining supply marker. Points favored Ironwood. Han Li studied the scoreboard. "We have to take the center." "Yes, you've spent the whole match avoiding it, because Ren Tao has spent the whole match learning how everyone attacks him." Lin Yuan looked toward the central basin. The mammoth stood within rings of trampled earth. Every approach had been cleared. No cover remained. No small animals remained nearby. Ironwood had burned insect-repelling herbs around the objective after studying Moki's ability. They had starved fortune theft deliberately. Ren Tao stood beside the crystal. "You waited too long," he called across the basin. Lin Yuan did not answer. He opened his pouch. Inside were 6 seeds, not 1. They had learned from the championship match. Mochi touched the first. A tiny thread entered its bond. Then the second. Lin Yuan stopped after 3. Enough possibility. No more. Mei Shui raised ice walls along the northern path. Han Li advanced south. Qiaoming moved through the center. Ironwood recognized a 3-way attack. Their remaining defenders split. Ren Tao stayed with the mammoth. The rock boar charged. The mammoth met it directly. The collision shook the basin. Qiaoming could not win the contest of strength. He did not need to. The impact cracked the packed earth. Mei Shui froze the fissures. Han Li's lion hated them. Ice expanded. Stone weakened. Ren Tao understood. "You're changing the ground." The mammoth lifted 1 foot. Too late. The surface beneath it collapsed several inches. Not enough to trap the beast. Enough to break its stable stance. Mochi released 1 fragment of fortune. A cracked section shifted toward the mammoth's lower left foreleg, the weakness Mei Shui had noticed. Ren Tao had used it as bait in their duel. Now the entire team used it as structure. The mammoth leaned. Qiaoming's rock boar pushed from the side. Han Li's lion struck the ground with a controlled flame burst. Mei Shui froze at the opposite edge. The mammoth slid out of the objective circle. Only for 1 second. Lin Yuan entered. Ren Tao intercepted him. They exchanged baton strikes. Ren Tao was stronger. Lin Yuan retreated toward the crystal. Ren Tao followed, guarding the final step. Mochi released the second fragment. One of the dormant seeds split inside the pouch. A root no longer than a fingernail pushed through the cloth and caught on Lin Yuan's belt. The sudden resistance shifted his turn. Ren Tao's baton passed his shoulder. Lin Yuan touched the crystal. Azure's emblem appeared above the basin. The central objective changed hands. Ironwood attacked immediately. The mammoth recovered. Its horn shattered Qiaoming's defensive barrier. Han Lai blocked the next charge. Mei Shui rebuilt the circle in ice. They needed to hold for 60 seconds. 50. 40. Ironwood's support team returned. 30. Ren Tao broke through Mei Shui's wall. 20. The mammoth drove Han Lai's lion backward. 10. Lin Yuan felt the final fragment of fortune fading. He did not release it. Qiaoming's rock boar planted all 4 feet and held the mammoth for 1 more second. Mei Shui froze Ren Tao's sleeve to a broken wall. Han Lai used the last of his lion's flame to cut off the support team. 3, 2, 1. The signal sounded. Azure Guardian Academy won the team's strategy event. The overall trials ended in a tie between Azure and Ironwood. Individual combat favored Ironwood. Coordination and strategy favored Azure. The final result would be decided by the Wilderness Relay. Each academy had to cross 3 regions, retrieve a sealed token, and return before nightfall. The course included no direct combat requirement. Wild beasts were real. Injuries were possible. Supervising instructors would intervene only if a team abandoned the trial. The first region was a cedar forest filled with scent-confusing pollen. The second was a canyon crossed by unstable bridges. The third was an abandoned watch district where wild beasts had nested among the ruins. Azure entered 2 minutes behind Ironwood due to the ranking draw. Lin Yuan did not chase. He marked their starting direction and led the team toward higher ground. The cedar pollen disrupted Guardian scent and weakened long-distance communication. Maisui's Phoenix could not navigate above the canopy because the token route remained hidden below. Han Lai wanted speed. Lin Yuan wanted certainty. They compromised. The flame lion cleared fallen branches. The rock boar marked trees by scraping bark. The Phoenix froze small arrows into the ground, pointing backward. Mochi rode on Lin Yuan's shoulder, conserving strength. They reached the canyon in 3rd place. Ironwood had already crossed. One academy was trapped at a broken bridge. The official route required teams to repair it. Han Li examined the gap. "We can jump guardians across and carry ropes. The Phoenix can cross," Mei Shui said. "The others cannot land safely." Lin Yuan looked downstream. A narrower section lay beyond a rock bend. Reaching it required descending the canyon wall. It would take longer than repairing the bridge. Qiao Ming tested the damaged support. "The central anchor is rotten." Lin Yuan studied the remaining ropes. "Then we don't repair the bridge." They lowered the rock boar into the canyon using the intact side supports. It crossed the shallow river below and carried a line to the opposite slope. Mei Shui froze a foothold into the rock. Han Li's lion heated wet surfaces to prevent slipping. They descended, crossed, and climbed. The route took 20 minutes. Repairing the bridge took the other academy 40. Azure reached the abandoned watch district in 2nd place. Ironwood's tracks led through the central street. Broken towers leaned over narrow roads. Claw marks marked the stone. The sealed token rested somewhere inside the old command hall. The district appeared quiet. Too quiet. Lin Yuan stopped before the entrance. Mochi's ears flattened. Han Li lowered his voice. "What? No insects." Mei Shui scanned the rooftops. "No birds either." Qiao Ming's rock boar sniffed the ground and backed away. A shadow moved behind an upper window. Then another. Nightfang wolves emerged across the ruins. Not one pack. 3, at least 30 beasts surrounded the command hall. Ironwood had entered before them. The distant crash of stone confirmed they were still inside. Han Li's lion growled. "We can break through. Not while Ironwood is fighting in the center," Lin Yuan said. "The packs will collapse on both teams." Ren Tao's mammoth roared inside the hall. A tower wall cracked. Wolves poured through the opening. Mike Sui looked toward Lin Yuan. "We helped them." The decision came without debate. Azure attacked the outer pack. The Frost Phoenix froze rooftops, removing elevated roots. The Flame Lion forced wolves from the alley. The Rock Boar held the entrance. Lin Yuan and Mochi moved through the gaps. Fortune Theft drew tiny threads from wolves only when necessary. A loose roof tile fell between 2 attackers. A cracked stair collapsed after the team crossed. A wolf chose the wrong side of a pillar. Every intervention created space. None ended the battle. Inside the command hall, Ironwood was trapped around the token chamber. Ren Tao's mammoth protected 2 injured teammates. The beast's left foreleg bled. A larger Nightfang Alpha stood atop the central stairs. Its black fur absorbed the dim light. The creature had driven the other packs into coordinated attack. Ren Tao saw Azure enter. "You should take the token and leave." Han Lai laughed once. "You'd complain forever." Mai Sui sent ice across the stairs. The Alpha shattered it with 1 claw. Qiao Ming moved beside the mammoth. The rock boar braced the injured leg. Lin Yuan studied the hall. Broken banners, collapsed beams, 3 entrances. The wolves attacked in waves, but every group looked toward the Alpha before changing direction. The leader did not need to fight directly. It controlled timing. "We separated from the packs," Lin Yuan said. Ren Tao blocked a wolf with his baton. "How?" "Make its signals unreliable." Mei Shui understood first. Her Phoenix released frost mist through the hall. Not enough to freeze, enough to hide sight. Han Lai's lion filled the upper air with smoke. The wolves lost visual contact with the stairs. The Alpha howled. The sound echoed from stone walls. Lin Yuan threw metal cups from the emergency kit into different corridors. Qiao Ming's rock boar struck the floor. The cups rang. False echoes crossed the hall. The packs hesitated. The Alpha howled again. Mochi drew a fragment of fortune from it. The next echo returned from the wrong corridor after a cracked stone shifted. Half the wolves turned incorrectly. Ren Tao saw the opening. His mammoth charged the stairs. The Alpha leaped aside. Han Li's lion cut off its retreat. Mai Sui froze at the landing. The Alpha slipped. Qiao Ming's rock boar struck from below. The leader crashed through a broken railing and landed in the empty council chamber. Lin Yuan pulled the doors shut. Ren Tao's mammoth pushed a fallen beam across them. The packs lost command. Some fled. Others fought individually. Without coordination, both academy teams cleared the hall. No one celebrated immediately. The injured students needed treatment. The mammoth's leg required binding. The wilderness relay clock continued. Ironwood had reached the token first. Ren Tao held it in one hand. He looked toward the command hall exit. Then toward Azure. 1 token, he said. Han Li's grip tightened around his baton. Ren Tao tossed it to Lin Yuan. You saved our team. Lin Yuan caught it. The trial is not worth pretending we completed it alone. He pointed toward a second sealed compartment behind the broken stair. The Alpha had been guarding more than one token. Azure retrieved its own. Both teams left together. The return journey became a shared effort. Ironwood's mammoth could not move at full speed. Azure could have gone ahead. They did not. The teams crossed the canyon using the route Azure had built. They navigated the cedar forest using the marks left behind. Night approached before the citadel came into view. The final gate began closing at sunset. Both teams were still several hundred steps away. Han Li looked toward Lin Yuan. Now Lin Yuan checked Mochi. The kitten was tired but stable. 3 small fortune fragments remained from the watch district. Now, they used everything already prepared. Mei Shui's phoenix created an ice path down the final slope. Ren Tao's mammoth carried the injured students. Qiao Ming's rock boar stabilized the rear. Han Li's lion melted obstacles before the group reached them. Mochi released the first fragment. A falling branch landed parallel to a ditch, forming a bridge. The second fragment. The closing gate mechanism jammed for one breath, after dust entered an exposed gear. The third fragment. A patrol horn sounded from the wall at exactly the moment the gate officer looked away from the countdown signal. Both teams crossed together. The gate closed behind them. White River Citadel awarded Azure Guardian Academy first place overall. Ironwood took second. Ren Tao accepted the result without protest. The provincial officials praised the winning strategy. The academy representatives praised teamwork. Spectators praised Mochi's luck. Lin Yuan knew the truth was less simple. They had won because Han Li learned restraint. Because Mei Shui adapted after losing. Because Qiao Ming held positions no one else could hold. Because Ren Tao chose honesty over advantage. Because Mochi's fortune had entered plans already built by trust. Azure returned home beneath banners and applause. The academy held a formal ceremony in the central plaza. Months earlier, Lin Yuan had stood on the awakening platform while thousands laughed at the tiny stray cat on his head. Now he stood before the same crowd with Mochi on his shoulder. The academy principal presented 4 provincial merit badges. 1 to Han Li, 1 to Mei Shui, 1 to Qiao Ming, 1 to Qiao Ming, 1 to Lin Yuan. A 5th, smaller badge had been made for Mochi. The kitten immediately tried to bite it. The crowd laughed. Lin Yuan held the badge out of reach. This one isn't food. Mochi climbed onto his head in protest. Master Gu watched from the instructor's platform. Beside him, head instructor Zhao held the unfinished archive record. The damaged page had been examined under restoration light. Several additional words had emerged. Guardian of Fortune. Never permit accumulation. Never permit the Warden to awaken. Never permit the Warden to awaken. The final line had been written in a different hand. If the Golden Bearer returns, the sealed road will open. Head instructor Zhao lowered the page. Should we tell him? Not yet, Master Gu said. The chamber has reacted twice, and the boy has shown restraint twice. Master Gu watched Lin Yuan share the stage with his team. That is why we wait. Deep. Beneath the academy, the glowing runes spread into a complete circle. Stone moved for the first time in centuries. Behind the black wall, a narrow passage opened. Golden footprints appeared across the dust. Small, feline, leading downward. Far beyond Azure Guardian City, in a fortress hidden among barren mountains, a bronze mirror filled with dark water began to tremble. A hooded figure approached. The water reflected no face, only a tiny cat with golden eyes. The figure placed one hand against the mirror. A fortune guardian has awakened. Another presence answered from within the fortress. Impossible. The disturbance crossed the provincial boundary. Silence followed. Then, a command. Find the bearer. Observe first. And if the old lineage has returned, the dark waters stilled, then fate itself must be corrected. At Azure Guardian Academy, Lin Yuan left the ceremony after sunset. His friends walked with him toward the dormitory road. Han Lai carried the provincial trophy because no one trusted Mochi near the ribbons. Qiao Ming carried enough food for all 4 guardian beasts. Mei Shui carried a new training schedule. Lin Yuan carried his notebook. The first pages described coincidences he barely understood. The newest pages described controlled transfers, decaying reserves, battlefield limitations, and team applications. Fortune theft had grown more precise. Mochi had evolved. Their reputation had spread beyond the academy. But the greatest change was simpler. Lin Yuan no longer trained alone. At the old academy tree, the group stopped. Mei Sui placed the schedule on the bench. Tomorrow morning. Han Lai frowned. We just returned. The provincial expedition selections begin next month. Qiao Ming opened the food basket. Can we discuss suffering after dinner? Mochi jumped inside. Before anyone answered, Lin Yuan pulled it away from the fish. The kitten held one piece between its teeth. You already ate during the ceremony. Mochi refused to release it. Han Lai sat beneath the tree. Let it keep the fish. It helped us win. That reasoning will destroy every rule I've taught it. You taught it rules. I attempted to. Mei Shui sat across from them. The attempt failed. Qiao Ming divided the remaining food. Their laughter carried across the quiet campus. Beneath their feet, the ancient road continued opening. Beyond the city, unseen enemies had begun moving. Lin Yuan knew nothing of either. For now, he watched Mochi curl beside the crimson flame lion after finishing the stolen fish. The tiny guardian had once possessed no allies, no classification, and no future anyone respected. Now its fortune connected 4 students, 4 guardian beasts, and an academy beginning to believe in possibilities it had forgotten. Lin Yuan opened his notebook and wrote one final rule beneath the others. Fortune becomes stronger when shared purpose gives it direction. He looked toward the people beside him. Arc 2 had not made him invincible. It had given him something more useful. A team capable of turning small chances into victories, none of them could create alone. A team capable of turning small chances into victories, none of them could create alone. The next morning proved that shared purpose did not make early training any less painful. Mei Shui arrived before sunrise with 4 revised schedules. Han Li read the first page, looked at the sky, then looked at her. There are 2 rest periods. IS-1 is 8 minutes. The other is 12. Qiao Ming accepted his copy without complaint. Lin Yuan checked the final column. Ancient terrain adaptation? Mei Sui pointed toward the notice board outside the eastern field. The academy had posted the provincial expedition selections during the night. The highest-ranked first-year teams would enter the Hollow Ridge survey zone at the end of the month. The region contained abandoned outposts, unstable guardian beast habitats, and ruins older than Azure Guardian City itself. Most students focused on the expedition rewards. Lin Yuan noticed the final line. Participants may encounter unclassified historical structures. All discoveries must be reported to the academy. Master Gu stood beside the board. You will enter. Han Lai folded the schedule. Is that another statement about the difference between entering and competing? No. Master Gu looked toward Lin Yuan and Mochi. This time, it is a warning. He led them into the archive hall after training. The building occupied one of the academy's oldest courtyards. Students rarely entered beyond the public reading rooms. Master Gu took them through a locked iron door and down a narrow stairway. Dust covered the lower shelves. Most records had been copied onto modern crystal tablets, but the oldest documents remained in sealed cases. Head Instructor Zhao waited beside a stone table. The damaged page from the Guardian Beast archive lay beneath restoration light. Lin Yuan recognized the unfinished drawing immediately. A small cat. Torn ear. Golden eyes. Mochi climbed onto the table before anyone could stop it. Head Instructor Zhao moved the page out of reach. The kitten sat on the empty space and looked offended. Master Gu pointed toward the restored lines. Guardian of Fortune. Never permit accumulation. Never permit coercion. Never permit the warden to awaken. Han Lai read them twice. That sounds less like a classification, and more like a disaster report. It may be both, Head Instructor Zhao said. Mei Sui studied the damaged edges. The missing sections were scraped away. Yes, BH, no. The archive restoration had revealed repeated cuts from a metal blade. Someone had deliberately removed names, locations, and explanations. Qiao Ming leaned closer. Who would damage an academy record? Someone who wanted the knowledge forgotten, Master Gu said. Lin Yuan looked toward Mochi. The kitten had become interested in the restoration lamp. He moved it away before it touched the heated crystal. When was this written? The first layer is approximately 800 years old. Head Instructor Zhao replied. The warning beneath it was added later. How much later, we do not know. He placed a map beside the page. Guardian cities appeared across the province's blue points. Several abandoned settlements were marked in gray. Hollow Ridge lay north of Azure City. An older symbol had been discovered beneath the modern survey lines. 3 intersecting circles crossed by thin marks, the same shape that had appeared over Moki's forehead during its evolution. Lin Yuan's attention sharpened. You found this after the rune beneath the academy reacted. Silence settled over the room. Han Li turned toward the instructors. The rune beneath the academy? Master Gu exhaled. We intended to tell Lin Yuan privately. You invited the rest of us. Because that is no longer practical, he explained the Forgotten Chamber. The first awakening beneath the academy. The rune that remained lit. The sealed passage now opening below the foundations. He did not mention the voices behind the black wall. Those details remained known only to Master Gu and head instructor Zhao. Mai Sui examined the map. You think the Hollow Ridge symbol is connected? We think it may be part of the same network. Then why send students? Han Li asked the question without accusation. Head instructor Zhao answered directly. The provincial expedition will happen regardless of our concerns. Other academies, survey guilds, and city officials already have access. And if we stay away, Lin Yuan said, someone else may enter without understanding what they find. Master Gu nodded. You will not search for the ruin alone. You will not hide discoveries from the supervising instructors. And you will not use Moki's ability on any ancient object. Unless survival leaves no alternative, Mochi yawned. Lin Yuan rested one hand on its back. I understand. Master Gu's gaze remained steady. Do you? The warning lines offered no explanation. Never permit coercion. Never permit coercion. Never permit coercion. Never permit the warden to awaken. Lin Yuan understood only that ignorance made every use more dangerous. No, he admitted, but I understand enough to be careful. The Hollow Ridge expedition gathered 12 first-year teams from across the province. White River Citadel supplied transport caravans and supervising instructors. Ironwood Academy's team joined the Eastern Column. Ren Tao greeted Azura's group at the staging ground. His golden-horned mammoth had recovered, though a reinforced guard protected its left foreleg. You brought the cat. Han Li looked at him. Were you expecting us to leave our guardian beasts behind? Ren Tao ignored him. His attention remained on Mochi. 3 survey teams disappeared near Hollow Ridge last year. Qiuming stopped arranging supply packs. That wasn't in the public report. It was listed as rote abandonment. Ren Tao lowered his voice. My uncle lowered his voice. Works with the provincial patrol. They found the camps. What happened to the teams? Mei Shui asked. Several survey guild wagons carried reinforced transport crates. Most were used to relocate injured or aggressive guardian beasts. Why were there cages? Ren Tao's expression hardened. That is what the patrol never explained. The Eastern Column left White River Citadel before noon. The road narrowed as they entered the northern highlands. Forests gave way to gray slopes and wind-carved stone. Ancient pillars appeared beside the route at irregular intervals. Most had collapsed. The surviving surfaces bore markings weather had nearly erased. Mochi watched each one. Its golden eyes reflected lines Lin Yuan could not see. By evening, the caravan reached the first survey outpost. The buildings had been constructed over older foundations. Modern stones stood upon black blocks fitted without mortar. The original builders had shaped every piece with impossible precision. Lin Yuan's team received a room beside Ironwood's. Master Gu remained with the senior expedition staff. The students were instructed not to leave after nightfall. At midnight, Mochi woke Lin Yuan. The kitten stood on the windowsill. Its fur carried a faint golden shimmer. Lin Yuan followed its gaze. Beyond the outpost wall, a small light moved among the ancient pillars. Not a lantern, a golden thread. It drifted close to the ground, disappearing and reappearing between stones. Lin Yuan woke the others. Han Li reached the window first. I don't see anything. Neither do I, Qiuming said. Mei Shui looked toward Mochi. You both see it, Lin Yuan nodded. The thread crossed the outer boundary and reached the base of the outpost wall. Then it vanished. A soft scraping sound came from beneath the floor. The crimson flame lion stood. Its mane brightened. The frost phoenix opened its wings. Qiuming's rock boar pressed one ear to the stone. Something moved below them. Not an animal. 2 regular. 3 steps. Pause. 3 steps. Pause. Lin Yuan contacted the night guard through the room's signal crystal. Master Gu arrived with 2 senior instructors. The sound stopped before they entered. They searched the foundations. Nothing appeared disturbed. No tunnel was visible. No tracks remained. Only Mochi continued staring at the floor. At dawn, the expedition commander dismissed the event as settling stone. Master Gu did not. He assigned Azure and Ironwood to the same survey route. Their official task was to map a collapsed ravine east of the outpost. Their private instruction was simpler. Watch for the 3 circles symbol. The teams entered Hollow Ridge beneath the pale sky. Ren Tao took point. His mammoth cleared unstable rocks from the route. Mike Xue's Phoenix monitored the cliffs. Kyo, Ming marked their path. Han Li stayed near the center, ready to respond in either direction. Lin Yuan followed Mochi. The kitten did not wander. It moved with unusual purpose. Every few hundred steps, it stopped beside black stone buried beneath the soil. The first bore no visible mark. The second contained a single carved line. The third showed part of a circle. They were following the remains of an ancient road. The official map showed nothing there. By midday, the road led away from their assigned ravine. Ren Tao checked the root crystal. We report this. Han Lai looked toward the rising ridge. After we see where it leads, the assignment says not to leave the marked zone. It also says to report historical structures. Mei Shui sided with Ren. Tao, we send the location first. Lin Yuan agreed. The signal crystal failed. Not gradually. The blue light vanished the moment they crossed the next black stone. Ren Tao stepped backward. The crystal activated. Forward. Again. Dark. A boundary, Mei Shui said. Lin Yuan examined the air. No barrier shimmered. No energy pressure changed. Only communication stopped. They marked the point and returned to the mapped route. The ravine survey appeared ordinary until Kiao Ming discovered a broken transport wheel beneath loose gravel. Ren Tao recognized the iron fittings. Provincial patrol design. More debris lay deeper in the ravine. A torn harness. A signal crystal crushed beneath stone. 3 empty Guardian transport cages. The locks had not been broken from inside. Someone had opened them. Han Li examined claw marks near the largest cage. These aren't from whatever was transported. Lin Yuan followed the marks. They belonged to boots reinforced with beast claw grips. Common equipment among frontier hunters. Mike Sui found a metal badge beneath the cage. Its emblem showed a hooked chain around a horned skull. Ren Tao's face changed. Beast hunters, the organization, operated beyond city law. Some captured rare wild guardian beasts for private collectors. Others stole bonded beasts from inexperienced masters. Most cities treated them as criminals. Few hunting cells were large enough to attack official survey teams. Kiao Ming looked toward the empty cages. They took the beasts, or released them, Lin Yuan said. Han Lai studied the surrounding ground. Why leave the teams? No tracks showed injured students being dragged away. No remains marked the ravine. Only cages, equipment, and a route leading toward the ancient boundary. They reported the discovery after returning to the communication line. The expedition commander ordered every student team back to the outpost. One team failed to answer. Mist Academy's 3rd group had been surveying the northern terraces. Their last signal mentioned moving lights beneath the ground. Senior instructors began a search immediately. Lin Yuan's team was told to remain inside. They obeyed for less than an hour. A first-year student from Mist Academy arrived at the gate alone. He had lost one boot. Blood covered his sleeve. His guardian beast was missing. The boy collapsed before speaking. When he woke, he remembered entering a narrow canyon. Golden lights appeared beneath the rocks. His guardian, a cloud-eared deer, followed them. The team attempted to restrain it. Figures wearing gray cloaks attacked from above. The student escaped because his guardian forced him through a crack in the stone before the hunters captured it. He remembered one sentence. Take the fate-marked beasts alive. The expedition commander closed the outpost. No student would leave until provincial reinforcements arrived. Master Gu assembled Azure and Ironwood privately. You remain here. Han Lai stood. They took a bonded guardian. The senior teams are searching. The hunters are moving toward the ruin, Lin Yuan said. Master Gu looked at him. You are guessing. Mochi saw the same lights. That does not mean you follow them. If the hunters know what the symbols mean, they may reach the sealed area first. That is possible. Master Gu's voice hardened. It is also possible they are using the lights to lure you. The room fell silent. The target might not be the missing deer. It might be Mochi. Ren Tao looked toward the window. Then we use that. Master Gu's expression turned colder. No. We don't offer Mochi to them, Ren Tao said. We make them believe we will. Lin Yuan understood the idea. The hunters had attacked an official expedition without fear. They had planned routes beyond the communication boundary. They likely monitored the outpost. A visible student team leaving with Mochi could draw them away from the missing students. Master Gu refused. The expedition commander refused more strongly. Then the outpost's western storage building exploded. Smoke crossed the courtyard. Guardian beasts roared inside their rooms. Hunters attacked the eastern wall while instructors rushed toward the fire. They had not waited for students to leave. They had come for the outpost. Gray-cloaked figures descended on hooked lines. Their weapons released narrow sound waves that disrupted Guardian bonds. Students collapsed as pain crossed through their connections. Lin Yuan felt the first pulse strike Mochi. The kitten cried out. Golden light surged beneath its fur. Lin Yuan covered its ears and moved behind the stone wall. The sound was not ordinary noise. It targeted bond resonance. Mei Shui's phoenix lost altitude. Han Li's lion struck wildly at empty space. Qiao Ming's rock boar froze, mid-charge. Ren Tao's mammoth remained standing through force alone, but its movements became slow. The attackers knew how to disable bonded teams. They also knew which room contained Azure's group. 3 hunters broke through the window. The first threw a weighted net toward Mochi. Lin Yuan cut the edge with his baton and pulled the kitten beneath the table. Han Li fought without his lion. He drove one attacker into the wall. Mei Shui froze the floor beneath another. Qiao Ming used his own body to block the doorway while his guardian struggled to respond. The third hunter activated a black crystal. The next resonance pulse struck at close range. Lin Yuan's vision blurred. Mokia! Panic crossed the bond. Not fear of injury, fear of separation. The weighted net tightened around the kitten. A hunter pulled. Lin Yuan held the other end. The bond between them stretched painfully. Moki's golden eyes flared. Dozens of fortune threads became visible at once, not only from living creatures, from decisions, movements, unmade outcomes surrounding every person in the room. For one dangerous instant, Lin Yuan felt them too. A world of possibilities. Every falling object, every uncertain step, every action that might succeed or fail. Mochi could take from all of them. The power invited one response. Take everything. Lin Yuan remembered the archive warning. Never permit accumulation. Mochi. The kitten continued pulling fortune inward. The hunter's boots slipped. The black crystal cracked. A support beam groaned above them. Too many opportunities were collapsing toward one result. Lin Yuan released the net. He stepped forward instead. Mochi, stop. The kitten looked at him. Trust crossed the bond before command. The gathering threads broke apart. Most returned to their sources. The beam remained standing. The hunter regained balance. The crystal stopped cracking. And Lin Yuan, now closer, struck the attacker's wrist. The net loosened. Mochi escaped. Han Li's lion recovered as the sound crystal fell silent. One controlled burst of flame forced the remaining hunters through the window. The outpost defenders regrouped. The attack ended as quickly as it began. The hunters withdrew beyond the communication boundary. They took 2 captured guardian beasts. The missing cloud-eared deer was seen among them. The expedition commander could no longer wait for reinforcements. The beast hunters had attacked openly. They knew the terrain. They had equipment capable of disrupting bonds. And they were heading toward an ancient site marked by the same symbol as Moki's evolution. A rescue team formed before sunset. Master Gu led it. 2 senior instructors joined him. Azura and Ironwood were included despite every regulation against sending first years. The captured beasts responded to Moki's presence. Without that connection, the trail disappeared at the ancient boundary. Master Gu made the condition clear. The moment I order retreat, you retreat. No one argued. The old road became visible beneath moonlight. Golden lines spread across black stones when Mochi approached. The team followed them into the ridge. Beyond the communication boundary, the landscape changed. Wind no longer reached the narrow valley. No insects moved among the grass. Ancient statues lined the path. Each showed a guardian beast facing inward, toward a distant gate. Many heads had been removed. Names beneath them had been chiseled away. History had not simply eroded. It had been erased. The beast hunters left few tracks. They expected pursuit from above, not along the hidden road. Mochi found them through fragments of stolen fortune trailing from the captured beasts. Every thread was weak. The animals had been repeatedly drained. Lin Yuan touched one fading strand. Pain crossed the bond. Not physical pain, emptiness. The hunters were extracting fortune from guardian beasts. Ren Tao's voice became quiet. Can they use it? Not safely, Lin Yuan said. He did not know how he knew. The ancient road seemed to carry understanding through Moki's bond. Fortune taken through trust flowed naturally. Fortune stolen through coercion resisted. It damaged the vessel holding it, but enough forced power could still produce results. Never permit coercion. The second warning. They reached the gate before dawn. 3 circles covered its surface. The center remained dark. The beast hunters had established a camp around it. Metal cages held 6 guardian beasts. The cloud-eared deer lay in the nearest. Black tubes connected the cages to a central bronze vessel. Golden light moved through them in violent pulses. A tall hunter stood beside the vessel. He wore no hood. A scar crossed his face from temple to jaw. Master Gu recognized him. Zhou Kan. The man smiled. I wondered which old guardian would follow. You attacked children. I collected keys. His gaze moved toward Mochi. And the final one has arrived willingly. Master Gu raised one hand. His iron-backed tortoise emerged from the ground behind him, larger than the outpost wall and covered in ancient scars. Stone armor spread across the rescue team. Zhou Kan activated the bronze vessel. Stored fortune erupted. A cage lock opened by itself. A support rope snapped. A senior instructor's footing failed. The beast hunters attacked through a sequence of perfectly timed accidents. Master Gao's defensive barrier cracked when an old fracture aligned with the strongest strike. The hunters were not controlling impossibilities. They had accumulated enough stolen fortune to force favorable outcomes repeatedly. Lin Yuan saw the cost. The bronze vessel darkened with every use. Cracks spread through the metal. The captured guardian beasts weakened. Zhou Kan did not care. Han Lai and Mei Shui freed the first cage. Qiao Ming and Ren Tao held the hunters near the road. Lin Yuan moved toward the vessel with Mochi. Zhou Kan intercepted him. You waste what you were given. Lin Yuan avoided the first blade. The second changed direction when loose gravel rolled beneath his foot. Stored fortune favored Zhou Kan. Lin Yuan blocked late. The strike tore his sleeve. You borrow fragments, the hunter continued. You return them. You prepare as if probability deserves respect. He activated the vessel again. A hanging chain broke. The iron hook fell toward Mochi. Lin Yuan pulled the kitten away. You could command battlefields. Another pulse. Hanli's flame curved away from its target. Mei Shui's ice fractured at the wrong moment. Ren Tao's mammoth stumbled on stable ground. You could decide who rises. The bronze vessel brightened. Who fails? Another cage opened. But the door swung inward and struck the trapped guardian. Who deserves fortune? Mochi hissed. The captured beasts looked toward it. Golden threads connected every cage. Lin Yuan understood Zhou Kan's mistake. The hunter believed fortune was a collection of favorable events, something that could be stored and spent. But every fragment still belonged to a possibility. Every stolen thread remembered where it came from. Mochi, the kitten's evolved mark appeared. Zhou Kan laughed. Yes, the vessel pulled harder. Fortune tore from all 6 beasts at once. Show me the guardian of fortune. Mochi did not steal. It reached through the network and returned. The first thread flowed back into the cloud-eared deer. Its cage lock loosened. The second entered a stone-wing hawk. Its damaged restraint cracked. The third returned to a riverhorn wolf. The chain around its neck slipped free. Zhou Kan struck the vessel. The flow reversed again. Mochi's paws slid across the stone. Too much power pressed through its small body. Lin Yuan placed both hands around the kitten. He did not add strength. He added direction. Not all at once. The lesson they had learned from every battle returned. Preparation. Small openings. Shared purpose. Mei Shui froze the metal tubes. Han Lai heated their joints. Qiao Ming's rock bore struck the ground beneath the vessel. Ren Tao's mammoth pulled the cages apart. The force network weakened. Mochi returned one thread at a time. Each restored guardian created another disruption. A freed wing blocked a hunter's sight. A broken chain wrapped around a weapon. A cage door opened into the path of an attack. Zhou Kan spent more stolen fortune to maintain control. The bronze vessel cracked. Dark light escaped between golden pulses. Something beneath the gate answered. The central circle began turning. Master Gu looked toward it. Stop the vessel. Zhou Kan smiled through blood at the corner of his mouth. You think this was only about the beasts? The gate opened. A corridor descended into black stone. Golden footprints appeared across the floor. The same path hidden beneath Azure Guardian Academy. The beast hunters had not found a ruin. They had found part of a sealed road. Cold pressure rose from below. Mochi froze. A presence reached through the corridor. Not awake. Not fully, but aware. But aware! Warden. The word entered Lin Yuan's mind without sound. The bronze vessel shattered. Accumulated fortune burst across the camp. Every possible accident threatened to happen to Heber. Stones split. Chains snapped. Weapons slipped. The ancient gate widened. Lin Yuan could not control the storm. Neither could Mochi. They had one choice. Give the fortune somewhere to go. Lin Yuan looked toward the captured beasts, not into them. That would force more power through already weakened bodies, toward their unfinished possibilities. Open cages. Unbroken paths. Living futures beyond the ridge. Mochi, release it, the kitten cried out. Golden light expanded from its body. Every stolen fragment left the shattered vessel. Some returned to their original owners. Others entered the ancient road. The harassed statues brightened one after another. Names reappeared briefly beneath damaged stone. Guardian beasts forgotten for centuries. Their remaining fortune had been sealed into the road, waiting for bearers who never returned. The released power awakened their last possibilities, not resurrection. Memory. Images filled the valley. A small golden guardian walking beside ancient masters. Cities connected by roads of light. Fortune shared to guide travelers, protect births, warn of disasters, and prevent wars before they began. Then the images changed. Rulers demanded certainty. Generals demanded victory. The guardian of fortune was chained to a bronze throne. Luck was accumulated. Enemies failed without battle. Harvests moved from one region to another. Children born beneath unfavorable signs were abandoned. Choice narrowed. The warden appeared. Not a beast, a vast armored figure built to enforce balance when fortune became concentrated beyond repair. It did not judge intention. It erased distortion. Cities vanished. Records burned. Survivors destroyed the roads and removed every reference to the golden lineage. The history had been erased because memory itself could tempt another ruler to repeat it. The vision ended. The gate began closing. Zhou Kan ran toward it. Lin Yuan caught his cloak. The hunter cut the fabric and reached the corridor. Master Gu's ironback tortoise slammed one foot into the road. Stone rose beneath Zhou Kan. He fell outside the threshold. The gate sealed. Sealed. The remaining beast hunters fled. Senior instructors captured most before they reached the valley exit. Zhou Kan escaped after using the final fragment hidden inside his own body. A falling statue divided him from the pursuit. When the dust cleared, only a blood trail remained. The rescue team returned every captured guardian beast to its master. The cloud-eared deer could barely stand. Its bonded student reached the ridge by midday with a reinforcement column. The moment they saw each other, the deer crossed the field despite its injuries. Their bond reconnected before they touched. Mochi watched from Lin Yuan's arms. A faint golden thread formed between the pair. Not taken, not given, created. Lin Yuan added a new understanding to his notebook that night. Fortune was not merely stored potential. Trust could generate new possibility. Coercion could only redirect what already existed. The expedition ended immediately. Provincial officials sealed Hollow Ridge. Every student signed a restricted report. Publicly, the beast hunters had attacked a survey convoy and been repelled. The ancient road remained classified. The recovered memory was shared only with academy leaders and provincial guardians. Even then, debate began. Some argued Mochi should be isolated. Some wanted fortune theft studied as a strategic resource. Others demanded the sealed road be destroyed. Master Gu opposed all three. Mochi is a bonded guardian beast, he told the council. Not an artifact, a city official pointed toward the restored warning. It is also a key to a system that once destroyed cities. No, Lin Yuan said. He had not been invited to speak. He did anyway. The key was coercion. The chamber quieted. The ancient guardian did not destroy those cities. People accumulated fortune, removed choice, and woke the warden. The official looked at him. And you believe a first-year student will never make the same mistake? No. Lin Yuan's answer unsettled them more than confidence would have. That is why there must be rules stronger than my intentions. He placed his notebook on the council table. No repeated extraction from the same target. No forced theft from bonded guardian beasts except immediate defense. No accumulation beyond Mochi's natural decay period. No use for political ranking, gambling, trade manipulation, or guaranteed personal benefit. Every large use must be witnessed and recorded. Every new ability must be tested for cost before combat application. The officials read in silence. You would bind yourself voluntarily? One asked. I already do. Master Gu looked toward head instructor Zhao. The academy adopted the restrictions as a provisional fortune guardian protocol. Mochi slept through the entire decision. The public celebration after Hollow Ridge was smaller than the provincial trials. There were no banners. No trophies. Only 6 rescued guardian beasts returning to their masters. That mattered more. Ren Tao remained in Azari City for several days while his mammoth received treatment. Before leaving, he found Lin Yuan beneath the old academy tree. You were right. About what? The mammoth's left leg. Lin Yuan waited. It was bait during my match with Mei Shui. Ren Tao placed one hand against the beast's armored side. But after the relay, I kept using it because everyone expected the weakness to be false. Until it became real. Ren Tao looked toward Mochi. Preparation can become another kind of habit. Lin Yuan nodded. So can victory? Ren Tao extended his hand. Next time! Next time! Ironwood wins. Han Li approached from the training path. You'll need to defeat Azure first. Ren Tao glanced at him. I already defeated you individually. You defeated Mei Shui. She defeated you before. That was different. Their argument. Followed Ren Tao all the way to the gate. Mei Shui joined Lin Yuan beneath the tree, after they left. She carried a copied section of the recovered memory. The drawing showed the ancient guardian of fortune beside 7 roads of light. The erased names are beginning to return under restoration, she said. Any mention of Moki's species? No. She pointed toward the smallest inscription. Bearer and guardian are chosen through mutual acceptance. Bloodline alone is insufficient. Lin Yuan remembered Awakening Day, the dirty kitten that had appeared before him. The instant he decided not to abandon it. Mochi had not simply been a sign. Their bond had been accepted in both directions. Kiao Ming arrived with food. The rescued deer's master sent these. Moon-shaped pastries filled the box. Mochi climbed into it immediately. Lin Yuan lifted the kitten out. 1. Mochi reached for 3. 1. The kitten held up both front paws as if negotiating. Han Li returned from escorting Ren Tao. Give it 2. It helped save 6 guardian beasts. You said the same thing after the provincial trials. And I was right then. Mei Shui took 1 pastry before Mochi claimed the entire box. The Academy Council approved our next training zone. Han Li stopped the next training zone. Arguing? Where? The lower sealed road. Lin Yuan looked toward her. The passage beneath Azure Guardian Academy had opened far enough for exploration. Master Gu would lead them. No officials from outside the academy would enter during the first survey. The 4 students would be allowed to accompany him because the road had already reacted to Mochi. Kiao Ming slowly closed the pastry box. We just came back from one ancient road. Han Li smiled. And now we have one under our dormitory. They entered the chamber 3 days later. The room that once glowed alone now illuminated a circular hole. The black wall had opened into a narrow descending passage. Golden footprints crossed the dust. Mochi followed them. The lower road contained no traps. No treasure. Only records. Murals covered the walls. Most had been deliberately damaged. The surviving images confirmed what Hollow Ridge had shown. Fortune Guardians once traveled between cities. They did not grant victory. They preserved possibility. When floods destroyed one road, they guided survivors toward another. When disease threatened a settlement, they increased the chance that healers found the correct plants. When rulers tried to use them for conquest, the Guardians withdrew, until one ruler captured the last known bearer. At the end of the corridor stood an empty pedestal. Words remained beneath it. Fortune belongs to no throne. Fate belongs to no warden. Choice belongs to the living. Mochi placed one paw against the inscription. The pedestal opened. Inside lay a small bronze collar, broken. Lin Yuan did not touch it. A final memory rose from the metal without prompting. A golden cat biting through its own restraint. An ancient bearer opening the sealed roads. The 2 standing together while the warden descended. Then the bearer sent the guardian away. Not to escape. To preserve the possibility of return. The memory ended with a tiny white shape crossing centuries of darkness. Mochi sat before the broken collar. For once it did not play. Lin Yuan knelt beside it. You're not that guardian. Mochi looked at him. You may carry part of what it left. He placed one hand on the floor. But you don't owe anyone its choices. The kitten stepped away from the collar and climbed into his lap. The chamber's golden light softened. Master Gu watched from the passage. The most important question had not been whether Mochi carried an ancient lineage. It had been whether Lin Yuan would treat lineage as destiny. He had not. The academy sealed the broken collar in the archive. The lower road remained open for study. Lin Yuan's team returned to normal training, though normal now included lessons on historical probability systems, anti-coercion defenses, and resonance disruption weapons. The beast hunters had escaped with fragments of knowledge. Zhou Kan remained missing. Beyond the province, rumors spread through illegal trading networks. A golden guardian had returned. Some wanted to capture it. Some wanted to worship it. Others feared the warden enough to demand its death. Lin Yuan knew none of their names yet. He knew they would come. That knowledge changed his training. He practiced without Moki's fortune. Then with one fragment. Then an under-simulated bond disruption. Han Li learned to fight when his lion's flames turned against expected currents. Mei Shui trained her phoenix to respond through visual signals when resonance failed. Kiao Ming developed physical formations that protected masters and beasts from separation. Mochi learned the hardest lesson. Sometimes, it had to remain still while Lin Yuan faced danger. The kitten hated that lesson. It broke position 17 times during the first week. By the third, it remained hidden until Lin Yuan gave the signal. Then it launched itself at the practice attacker's face. Master Gu considered that partial success. Autumn ended. Cold wind crossed Azure Guardian City. The first snow arrived during evening training. Mochi attempted to catch every falling flake. The crimson flame lion melted a clear circle around itself. The frost phoenix stood proudly in the weather. The rock boar discovered snow could be eaten and refused to stop. Lin Yuan watched his team argue over whether frozen water counted as a snack. Months earlier, he had believed understanding Mochi's ability would answer his greatest questions. Instead, every answer had revealed a larger responsibility. Fortune theft was not merely a secret advantage. It belonged to a history people had erased to protect the future. The Warden was not a distant legend. Its sealed roads were opening. The beast hunters had proven that knowledge alone could become a weapon. Yet, the recovered memories had also given him hope. The ancient guardian had survived because someone preserved one final possibility. Mochi jumped from the snow and landed against his chest. Lin Yuan caught it. Golden markings glimmered beneath the white flakes. We won't repeat their mistakes. Mochi pressed one paw against his chin. Behind them, the academy bell rang. Far beneath the training field, the sealed road answered with a quiet pulse. Far beyond the city, Zhou Kan entered a fortress hidden among barren mountains. His wounded arm hung in a sling. Before him stood the bronze mirror filled with dark water. A hooded figure waited on the other side. You failed to capture the Guardian. Zhou Kan placed a cracked fragment of the ancient vessel on the table. I brought proof. Dark water moved across the mirror. The fragment reflected a golden eye. The bearer released accumulated fortune instead of claiming it. Zhou Kan said. Then he has learned restraint, for now. The hooded figure raised one hand. Behind the mirror, dozens of sealed lights appeared. Each contained stolen fortune. The amount dwarfed everything used at Hollow Ridge. The Warden does not awaken because one child becomes greedy. The figure's voice remained calm. It awakens when the world becomes unbalanced. Zhou Kan looked toward the captured light. She intend to create that imbalance. We intend to force the Guardian to choose. The mirror darkened. Save the people he loves, or preserve the balance he claims to serve. At Azure Guardian Academy, Lin Yuan carried Mochi toward the dormitory while his friends followed. He did not hear the threat. He did not know the next enemy had already studied his strongest principle. He only knew that fortune without choice became control, and that whatever waited beyond the sealed roads, he would face it without surrendering the difference between the two. And that whatever waited beyond the sealed roads, he would face it without surrendering the difference between the two. Winter settled over Azure Guardian City. The academy's stone roofs turned white. Training fields froze before sunrise. Students learned to keep their footing on ice while controlling guardian beasts whose abilities reacted unpredictably to the cold. For Lin Yuan's team, winter training began beneath the academy. The lower sealed road had expanded. 3 new corridors opened after Mochi touched the broken collar, each leading toward a different part of the ancient network. 2 ended in collapsed chambers. The third reached a circular platform containing 7 stone arches. Only one arch remained intact. Master Gu stood before it with head instructor Zhao and several academy researchers. Ancient symbols covered the inner frame. Lin Yuan recognized none of them, but Mochi did. The kitten walked along the platform, pausing before each damaged arch as though searching for a familiar scent. Mai Xue examined the intact structure. This is not a gate. It may once have been, one researcher said. No, she pointed toward grooves cut into the floor. The energy pattern enters from both directions. Head instructor Zhao looked toward Lin's. Yuan, a transfer station? More like a junction, Lin Yuan said. He followed the grooves to the center. 7 lines converged beneath a worn symbol. A small golden guardian stood surrounded by roads. It did not rule them, it connected them. Mochi placed one paw on the center mark. The intact arch awakened. Golden light filled its inner frame. For several breaths, the surface reflected another location. A forest beneath red leaves, broken towers, a stone bridge leading toward a distant mountain. Then a shadow crossed the image. The arch went dark. Master Gu moved Mochi away. What was that? Han Lai asked. A road opening, Lin Yuan said. Or someone looking back. No one touched the arch again. The academy sealed the junction. Provincial authorities received a restricted report. 3 days later, their response arrived. No expeditions, no activation attempts, no information shared outside approved councils. The order might have been reasonable if the provincial council had also ordered every known fragment of the ancient road secured. Instead, reports began disappearing. Survey maps vanished from archives. Recovered beast hunter equipment was transferred without explanation. Officials who had argued for Mochi's isolation suddenly stopped attending meetings. Master Gu read the pattern before Lin Yuan did. Someone is preparing the province to forget. The words reminded Lin Yuan of the damaged records. History had been erased once before. This time, the process had begun while he could still see it. The first direct warning arrived through Ren Tao. He entered Azure Guardian Academy during a snowstorm, carrying an injured messenger hawk beneath his cloak. Ironwood Academy's northern storehouse had been raided. Nothing valuable was taken. Rare ores remained. Guardian medicines remained. Combat manuals remained. The thieves stole only historical survey journals. Among them was Ren Tao's copy of the Hollow Ridge report. They knew which shelf, he said. They knew which locks. They knew our patrol schedule. Han Lai leaned against the archive table. Inside help. ICE provincial officials. Ren Tao did not answer. He did not need to. The messenger hawk carried a sealed note from Ironwood's headmaster. Do not trust centralized orders concerning the Fate Roads. The note named 4 academies whose records had been searched or confiscated. Azure was the 5th. Head instructor Zhao closed the archive to everyone except trusted staff. Master Gu changed the team's training again. They no longer practiced only against physical opponents. They practiced misinformation, false orders, conflicting objectives, situations where every available authority claimed legitimacy. During one exercise, 3 instructors gave simultaneous commands: protect the supply point, rescue an injured student, pursue a fleeing enemy. Only one command came from the designated leader. The others carried genuine academy seals. Han Li chose pursuit. Mike Shuya chose a rescue. Qiao Ming remained at the supply point. Lin Yuan did nothing until he identified which instructor had acknowledged the team's previous formation. He followed that command. Afterward, Master Gu asked why. Seals can be copied, Lin Yuan said. Continuity is harder. The old instructor nodded. Remember that when someone uses authority to make urgency feel unquestionable, the lesson became relevant sooner than expected. A provincial order summoned Mochi to White River Citadel for protective custody. The document carried 3 valid seals. It cited the Beast Hunter threat, the risk of Warden awakening, and emergency authority granted to the Provincial Defense Council. The escort arrived before dawn. 20 armored guardians stood outside the academy gate. Their captain presented the order to head instructor Zhao. We are not confiscating the Guardian, he said. We are relocating it. Lin Yuan stood behind the head instructor with Mochi in his arms. For how long? Until the threat is contained. Where will Mochi be kept? That information is restricted. Who can visit? Restricted. Who approved the containment method? The captain's patience thinned. You are a first-year student. These matters exceed your authority. Lin Yuan looked toward the escort cages. The metal bars were lined with black crystals similar to those used by the Beast Hunters. Not identical. More refined. Designed to suppress bond resonance. You brought a cage. For transport safety. Mochi travels on my shoulder. Not today. Head instructor Zhao handed the order back. Azure Guardian Academy refuses. The captain's hand moved toward his weapon. That would be obstruction of provincial defense. Master Gu stepped through the gate. His ironback tortoise rose beneath the snow-covered courtyard. Stone armor spread across the walls. No, he said. It would be an academy protecting a bonded pair from forced separation. The escort did not attack. They withdrew after recording the refusal. By noon, provincial channels declared Azure Guardian Academy non-compliant with emergency security measures. Funding was suspended. Expedition permissions were revoked. External trade routes were placed under review. The Academy's leadership expected pressure. They did not expect the speed. Food shipments slowed. Heating crystals failed to arrive. Families began receiving letters warning that students might be endangered by Azure's defiance. Several first years left within the week. Some parents demanded immediate transfers. Others gathered outside the gates, asking whether the Academy was sheltering a dangerous guardian beast. Rumors changed hourly. Mochi caused accidents. Mochi stole lifespan. Mochi had awakened the Beast Hunters. Mochi would bring the Warden to Azure City. The same kitten once mocked as worthless now became a threat powerful enough to frighten an entire province. Lin Yuan watched the accusations spread across public projection boards. Han Lai wanted to challenge every speaker. Mike Sue stopped him before the 3rd attempt. You cannot fight a rumor. I can fight the person repeating it, and create another rumor. Xiao Ming arrived with a bundle of printed notices. They're claiming the provincial trials were manipulated. Han Lai took one. The article described every Azure victory as probability interference. It questioned whether opposing students had been harmed through stolen fortune. Ren Tao's name appeared beside a statement he had never made. Ironwood Academy's captain admits unexplained weakness during Azure match. They forged this, Han Lai said. Ren Tao entered the room behind Qiao Ming. I know. He carried another notice. This one accused Ironwood of concealing injuries caused by Mochi. My academy was ordered to denounce Azure publicly. Will they? Meixue asked. My headmaster refused. Lin Yuan looked at him. What happened? Our funding was suspended this morning. The campaign was not only about Mochi. It was isolating every institution that resisted centralized control. Master Gu gathered the students that evening. The council wants you to react. Lin Yuan looked toward the Dark Academy grounds. Why? Because fear needs proof. If we fight the escort, we become dangerous. If we run, we become guilty. If Mochi uses fortune theft publicly, we confirm their claims. Master Gu nodded. And if you surrender, they gain control. The old instructor placed 4 sealed documents on the table. Then find another path. The first document recorded the provincial custody order. The second contained the academy's refusal. The third listed every sanction imposed afterward. The fourth was a copy of the law establishing bonded guardian protections. A bonded guardian could not be separated from its master without evidence of direct harm, mental corruption, or loss of control. No such evidence existed. Lin Yuan understood. They're using emergency authority to override ordinary law. Emergency authority requires a recorded threat assessment, Meixue said. Head instructor Zhao placed an empty folder beside the documents. No assessment was submitted to the academy. Hanlai smiled. So they broke their own rules. Possibly, Master Gu said, but proving that requires the original council records. Those records were stored inside White River Citadel, the same place that demanded Mochi's surrender. The team could not simply enter. Lin Yuan began with the only resource the council could not fully control. People. Students rescued during the Hollow Ridge attack submitted statements. Guardian masters whose beasts had been returned spoke publicly. Ren Tao corrected the false quote attributed to him. Qiao Ming contacted the family of the Silverback Hire's territory warden, who confirmed the team had used their own supplies to protect a wild guardian. Meixue compiled tournament records showing that Mochi's interventions remained within ordinary possibility, and never guaranteed victory. Han Li gave the shortest statement. I lost because Lin Yuan prepared better. When asked whether he had suffered lasting harm from fortune theft, he placed his crimson flame lion before the projection crystal. The beast sneezed fire toward the reporter. No, the statements did not end the campaign. They changed its shape. People began asking why the province needed secret custody if no victim existed. The council responded by announcing a formal investigation. 3 investigators arrived at Azure Academy. 2 were genuine. The third carried a hidden resonance weapon. Mochi detected the distortion when he entered the archive hall. Lin Yuan gave no warning. He signaled Meixue. She froze the door. Hanli's lion blocked the windows. Qiao Ming's rock boar lifted the floor beneath the man's feet, forcing him to drop the device. The weapon contained beast hunter components. The investigators swallowed poison before questioning. Master Gu prevented his death, but the man's memory had been altered. He remembered receiving orders from a faceless superior through a bronze mirror. The trail ended there. The real investigators changed sides after examining the weapon. One of them, Inspector Chen, had served the provincial council for 20 years. He reviewed the custody order and found another irregularity. The emergency seals were valid. The signatures were not. They had been impressed through stored authority crystals, allowing someone with archive access to approve the order without the officials being present. Who controls the authority archive? Lin Yuan asked. Inspector Chen answered reluctantly. The Office of Provincial Balance. The name meant little to most students. Master Gu recognized it. The office had been created after a series of guardian beast disasters 80 years earlier. Its purpose was to assess risks no single academy or city could manage. Its emblem showed a vertical scale beneath a closed eye. Lin Yuan had seen the shape before, not in modern records. On the armor of the warden, in the recovered memory. The office had not copied the ancient symbol accidentally. Someone within it knew the old history. Inspector Chen requested access to White River Citadel's sealed archive. The request was denied. The following morning, he disappeared. His room remained locked from inside. No struggle, no tracks, only a bronze coin resting on the windowsill. One side bore the provincial crest, the other showed a closed eye. Master Gu placed the coin beside the beast hunter badge recovered at Hollow Ridge, hooked chain around a horned skull, closed eye beneath a scale. Different organizations, connected methods. The beast hunters captured guardian beasts. The Office of Provincial Balance controlled records and authority. Both sought the ancient roads. Both used coercion. Lin Yuan looked toward the lower sealed passage. They're not allies. Master Gu waited. The hunters want fortune. The office wants control. And both believe Mochi is necessary. Master Gu nodded. What happens when two people want the same key? For different doors, they either fight, or one uses the other. The first break came from Zhao Kan. A message appeared inside the Academy's sealed road. No one saw who placed it. The paper lay upon the empty pedestal beside the broken collar. Meet me where 7 roads become one. Come before the winter moon reaches fullness. Bring the bearer, or the office will open the warden's scale without you. The message contained a second line written in blood. They have already begun gathering imbalance. Han Li read it and laughed without humor. He attacks us, escapes, and now asks for help. He doesn't want help, Mei Shui said. He wants Mochi. Then it's a trap. Yes, Xiao Ming studied the paper. What is the warden's scale? No one knew. The Academy researchers searched every restored fragment. They found one damaged mural. 7 reservoirs stood around a central figure. Each reservoir contained golden light. When all 7 filled unevenly, the armored warden descended. The ancient network did not measure total fortune alone. It measured concentration. If one region held too much favorable possibility while surrounding regions were deprived, the imbalance triggered correction. The Office of Provincial Balance had access to government systems controlling trade, medicine, patrols, and resource allocation. They could create imbalance without openly using magic, redirect successful harvests, delay supplies, concentrate protective resources, cause one city to prosper while nearby settlements failed. The sanctions against Azure were not merely political pressure. They were part of the mechanism. Heating crystals withheld from one region appeared in another. Expedition routes closed to Azure were granted to council-aligned academies. Rare medicines disappeared from frontier towns and gathered in White River Citadel. Small decisions. Administrative decisions. Each one moved possibility toward the center. They're feeding the city, Lin Yuan said. Mei Shui studied the provincial trade maps. Not the city. She marked 7 locations around White River Citadel. Warehouses, guardian hospitals, military depots, research vaults, council reserves, authority archives. The sites formed a circle. They're feeding 7 reservoirs. Master Gu contacted allied academies. Ironwood confirmed the same pattern. Frontier resources had been redirected toward the capital. Mist Academy had lost half its winter medicine. Riverstone's flood barriers remained unrepaired, while construction crystals were transferred inland. The province was becoming less fortunate around its edges. White River Citadel grew safer, wealthier, and more prepared. A controlled imbalance. The office was not trying to avoid the warden. It was trying to summon it. Lin Yuan read Zhou Kan's message again. Why? The answer arrived through a public announcement. The Office of Provincial Balance declared that growing instability across the province required unified emergency control. All Academy Guardian teams would be placed under centralized command. All rare or unclassified Guardian beasts would be registered and assessed. All sealed historical sites would become provincial property. The office was creating a crisis to justify authority. The warden would become the final proof. If it awakened, and the office appeared prepared to contain it, every city would surrender control willingly. Han Li struck the table. They want to create a disaster so people beg them to rule. Master Gu looked toward Lin Yuan. And Zhou Kan, he wants the accumulated fortune before the warden takes it. Both enemies plan to use the same imbalance. One for authority, one for power. Neither cared what happened to the province. The winter moon would reach fullness in 6 days. Azure could not wait for legal appeals. The allied academies formed their own coalition. They could not attack White River Citadel openly without beginning a provincial war. They needed proof. They needed the location where 7 roads became one. And they needed to prevent the scale from filling. Lin Yuan's team entered the intact arch beneath Azure Academy. This time, they did not activate it blindly. Researchers aligned its grooves with the map of provincial roads. Mochi supplied one fragment of fortune from a seed. Not to force the destination, to reveal the route already nearest to opening. The arch reflected the red forest again. Broken towers. Stone bridge. Distant mountain. Ren Tao recognized it. Balance Crown. The mountain rose north of White River Citadel. Official maps marked it as a restricted military zone. Ancient maps showed 7 roads converging beneath it. The allied academies prepared a small infiltration team. Master Gu, Inspector Chen's surviving partner, Inspector Luo, Lin Yuan, Mochi, Han Lai, Mei Shui, Xiao Ming, and Ren Tao refused to remain behind. Master Gu objected. Head Instructor Zhao overruled him. The office already knows who stands with Lin Yuan. He looked at the students. Keeping them here does not make them safe. They traveled through the sealed road instead of provincial territory. The arch opened for less than a minute. One by one, the team crossed into the red forest. The air changed immediately. Winter remained behind them. Balance Crown existed within a preserved season. Red leaves covered the ground. The sky held permanent dusk. Ancient towers leaned around the stone bridge. No birds called. No insects moved. The road itself conserved the moment when the station was sealed. Mochi walked ahead. Golden footprints appeared beneath its paws. They reached the bridge before Zhao Kan revealed himself. He stood upon the central span with fewer than a dozen beast hunters. His wounded arm had healed poorly. Dark veins crossed his neck. Stored fortune had damaged him from within. Han Li's lion stepped forward. Zhao Kan raised both hands. If I wanted battle, you would already be standing beneath falling stone. Your last vessel broke, Lin Yuan said. I built another. Then why do you need us? Zhao Kan looked toward the mountain. Because the office built something greater. He led them beneath the bridge. An ancient shaft descended into Balance Crown. Modern cables ran beside black stone. The office had excavated the central junction years earlier, long before Mochi awakened. They had known a fortune guardian would eventually return. They had prepared to use it. Zhao Kan had once worked for them. His beast hunters began as an unofficial acquisition force. They captured rare guardian beasts with unusual resonance patterns, searching for creatures capable of interacting with the roads. When Zhao Kan learned the office intended to monopolize the network, he broke away. You stole guardian beasts for them, Qiao Ming said. I followed orders, and after leaving, Zhao Kan smiled. I kept the useful methods. No one mistook his confession for regret. He wanted the office stopped because their success denied him power. Master Ge drew a stone seal from his sleeve. You will stand trial. If we survive the next 2 days, the shaft ended above a vast chamber. 7 reservoirs surrounded a central platform. Each contained golden light drawn through tubes extending across the province. Not pure fortune. Possibility converted from thousands of decisions. Medicine delivered early to one district and late to another. Patrols assigned to safe roads while dangerous regions remained exposed. Contracts awarded. Warnings ignored. Resources concentrated. Every administrative choice had created winners and losers. The office harvested the difference. At the center stood a metal structure shaped like a scale. One side shone, the other remained dark. A hooded figure watched from the platform. Lin Yuan recognized the voice before the figure turned. The bronze mirror. The office director removed the hood. She was an elderly woman with silver hair and the composed face of someone accustomed to obedience. Director Shen. Inspector Luo whispered the name. She has led provincial balance for 34 years. Director Shen looked toward Zhao Kan. You returned. I brought the key. No. Her attention moved to Lin Yuan. You brought the choice. The chamber filled with armored guardians, dozens. Their bonds were linked through authority crystals. Each guardian beast wore a restraint collar. Not full coercion. Controlled suppression. Enough to prevent refusal. Moki's fur rose. Director Shen descended from the platform. You believe me cruel. Lin Yuan looked toward the collars. Ah yes, because you have lived inside one city. She gestured toward the reservoirs. I have watched provinces collapse because local leaders protected only their own people. Academies hoarded medicine. Cities closed gates during beast tides. Guilds concealed routes. Families abandoned settlements to save bloodlines. Choice did not create fairness. It created fragmentation. Mike Sui answered. So you removed choice. I coordinated it. You starved frontier towns. To prepare the center? For what? Director Shen looked upward. The mountain trembled, for the correction already coming. A projection appeared above the scale. Across the province, sealed roads were opening. Not because the office summoned them, because the ancient network had sensed Moki's awakening. The warden would eventually notice. Director Shen believed centralized fortune was the only defense. If possibility remains scattered, every city will act alone. If we concentrate it here, we can survive the first correction. Lin Yuan looked at the glowing reservoirs. And the regions you emptied? Some losses preserve the whole. Han Lai stepped forward. Easy to say when your city is the whole. Director Shen did not react. Every leader chooses who bears the cost. No, Lin Yuan said. You chose that no one else was allowed to choose. The scale moved. Golden light gathered on one side. The dark side rose. A deep sound across the chamber. The warden's presence entered the road network. Not fully awake, closer than at Hollow Ridge. Director Shen extended one hand toward Mochi. The guardian can stabilize the scale. Lin Yuan understood the trap. If Mochi redistributed the stored fortune, the office would gain control of the method. If he refused, the imbalance would continue until the warden awakened. Save the people he loved, or preserve the balance. The choice described through the bronze mirror. Zhou Kan moved first. He threw a black crystal into the nearest reservoir. The vessel shattered. Fortune surged into him. Dark gold light filled his veins. Every loose object in the chamber shifted in his favor. A guard's weapon misfired. A support cable snapped toward his enemies. Stone broke beneath Director Shen's feet. Zhou Kan laughed. You spent years gathering what you were too afraid to use. He reached for the second reservoir. Master Gu's ironback tortoise blocked him. The chamber erupted. Office guardians attacked Zhou Kan's hunters. The allied team moved toward the scale. Director Shen ordered them stopped. Han Lai and his lion opened a path through controlled flame. Mei Shui froze restraint collars, making their mechanisms brittle without harming the beasts beneath. Qiao Ming and Ren Tao held the corridor against armored teams. Inspector Luo reached the authority console. Lin Yuan carried Mochi toward the reservoirs. Fortune distorted every exchange. Attacks missed their intended targets and struck more dangerous ones. Broken stones fell into useful positions. Injured fighters stumbled away from fatal blows. Others slipped at the worst possible moment. The chamber became a storm of competing possibilities. Mochi could see all of them. Through the bond, Lin Yuan saw them too. Thousands of golden paths, every decision branching. Every life carrying futures too numerous to count. The scale demanded simplification. One outcome. One controlled balance. The warden's influence pressed against his mind. Remove distortion. End uncertainty. Preserve equilibrium. The command held no hatred. The warden did not seek conquest. It sought a world where imbalance could not exist. A world without extreme fortune. Without extreme failure. Without unpredictable choice. Safe. Stable. Empty. Mochi began trembling. The ancient lineage within it recognized the warden. Fear older than memory crossed their bond. Lin Yuan held the kitten closer. You don't have to fight it alone. The words reached Mochi. They also reached his team. Mei Shui froze the third reservoir line. Han Lai burned through the fourth. Qiao Ming's rock bore tore the fifth conduit from the floor. Ren Tao's mammoth broke the sixth support ring. Inspector Luo shut down the seventh authority feed. The reservoir stopped filling. But the stored imbalance remained. Zhou Kan reached the second vessel. He absorbed more. His body changed. Golden cracks spread across his skin. Every favorable event around him became extreme. Han Lai's flame curved away. Mei Shui's ice broke before forming. Master Gu's tortoise stepped on solid stone that collapsed beneath its weight. Zhou Kan walked through failure that refused to touch him. You see? He shouted toward Lin Yuan. Preparation is for those who lack certainty. He raised one hand. A ceiling beam broke above Qiao Ming. The rock boar moved to shield him. Another beam fell behind it. Ren Tao's mammoth tried to help and lost footing. 3 accidents aligned. Lin Yuan saw the golden paths converge. Zhou Kan had not created impossible events. He had stolen enough possibility to make every unlikely danger choose the same target. Mochi reached toward him. Lin Yuan stopped it. Taking that much fortune would repeat the same imbalance inside Mochi. Returning it directly would strengthen Zhou Kan's victims unevenly. The answer lay in the team. Han Lai burned the support marks. There are 20. Only the ones Mei Shui freezes. Mei Shui understood. She marked 4 structural joints. Han Li's flames struck them. Qiao Ming left foundation. The rock boar charged. Ren Tao wait. The mammoth held. Zhou Kan smiled. Stone shifted in his favor again. The marked joints cracked too early. The foundation tilted toward Lin Yuan's team. Exactly as Zhou Kan wanted. No. Ren Tao's mammoth struck the opposite side. The chamber floor rotated. Not collapsed. Rotated. The 3 falling beams changed direction. One struck the empty reservoir. Another blocked Zhou Kan's retreat. The third shattered the platform beneath him. He remained fortunate. He landed safely, but safety placed him inside the central scale. Mochi released one tiny fragment. Not into Zhou Kan. Into the scale's locking mechanism. A worn pin failed. The dark side dropped. The structure closed around him like a cage. Zhou Kan grabbed the bars. Stored fortune made the first restraint crack. Then, the second. But every escape path led deeper into the system designed to measure concentration. The scale recognized him as the greatest imbalance in the chamber. The warden's attention shifted. For the first time, Zhou Kan looked afraid. Dark gold light tore from his body. Not stolen by Mochi. Claimed by the scale. Every accumulated fragment returned to the network without direction. The backlash struck every road. Across the province, unlikely events erupted. A hospital stored medicine fell from shelves. A flood barrier opened without command. A transport bridge locked halfway. A guardian beast restraint released inside a crowded depot. The office concentrated fortune scattered chaotically. Director Shen reached the central console. If we do not control the release, thousands will die. Lin Yuan looked toward the projection. She was right. The imbalance had become unstable. They needed to guide it. The scale offered one method. Bind Moki to the central platform. Use the Guardian as a living regulator. Director Shen activated the restraint arms. Bronze bands rose around the center, the same shape as the broken collar beneath Azure Academy. Mochi recoiled. Master Gu moved between them. No. Director Shen's composure finally broke. Then give me another solution. Lin Yuan searched the branching paths. Too many. No single person could direct fortune across an entire province. That was the mistake both ancient rulers and the office had made. They assumed balance required one controller. He looked toward the 7 disconnected reservoir lines. 7 roads. 7 regions. 7 sources. Reconnect them outward. Inspector Luo stared at the authority console. The reservoirs were built to draw inward. Reverse them. The provincial network will reject unauthorized distribution. Then authorize everyone, Director. Shen looked at him. That would release control to local systems. Yes. They will make conflicting choices. Yes. Some will fail. Yes. Her face hardened. Then, that is not balance. Lin Yuan looked toward the scale. No. It is life. The warden pressed closer. The mountain shook. A vast armored silhouette appeared behind the chamber walls. Director Shen had seconds to choose. Central control, or distributed uncertainty. She looked toward the restraints worn by her own guardians. Toward Zhou Kan trapped inside the scale. Toward the projection of towns suffering from decisions made in this chamber. Then she removed the authority seal from her neck. She placed it in Inspector Luo's hand. Open the network. Inspector Luo entered the command. The console rejected it. Director Shen added her blood signature. Still rejected. The system required 7 regional authorities. Ironwood, Mist, Riverstone, White River, Azure, 2 frontier districts. Only Azure and Ironwood representatives stood in the chamber. Lin Yuan opened the team signal crystal. Communication failed beneath the mountain. Mochi touched the device. A golden thread entered the sealed road. Not stolen. Shared. The ancient network carried the signal where modern channels could not. Head Instructor Zheao's voice emerged from the crystal. Azura confirms. Ren Tao contacted Ironwood through the same path. His headmaster confirmed. Master Gu sent the warning through every open arch. Mist answered. Riverstone answered. Riverstone answered. The frontier districts responded from isolated towers. White River City Guardian hesitated. Director Shen spoke into the network. This crisis was created under my authority. The chamber quieted around her voice. I concentrated resources without consent. I concealed risk. I used emergency law to remove opposition. The office of authority. Provincial balance has failed its purpose. She looked toward Lin Yuan. White River confirms release. 7 seals awakened. The reservoirs reversed. Golden light surged outward, not evenly, according to local decisions. Frontier healers directed possibility toward medicine deliveries. Riverstone engineers focused on flood barriers. Mist Academy reinforced missing patrol routes. Ironwood stabilized transport roads. Azure protected the sealed junctions. White River released hoarded resources into surrounding districts. The network became messy, conflicting, alive. Mochi stood at the center without restraints. It did not control the flow. It helped paths recognize one another. The ancient mark above its forehead expanded. 3 lines became 7. The golden roads responded. Fortune theft changed. Lin Yuan felt the mechanic widen. Mochi could still take, still return, still gift. But now it could connect compatible possibilities, not create them, not guarantee them. Allow one prepared effort to support another across distance. Fortune resonance. The ability flowed through every regional seal. A repair team's successful action improved the next team's chance. A healer finding the correct medicine guided another healer toward a similar choice. A patrol spotting one hidden threat made neighboring patrols more alert. Small successes echoed. Small successes echoed. Not certainty. Momentum. The warden entered the chamber. Its armored form rose behind the scale, taller than the reservoirs. No face existed beneath its helm, only a vertical line of white light. Its voice crossed every bond. Imbalance detected. Correction initiated. Mochi stood before it. The warden measured the network. Fortune remained uneven. Some regions still held more. Some people remained safer. Some plans would succeed while others failed. By its ancient law, distortion remained. Lin Yuan stepped beside Mochi. Balance isn't Samus. The warden did not respond. It can't. Director Shen watched the white line within its helm. It follows its measure. Then the measure must change. The ancient guardian line had once preserved possibility. The Warden had been created later after rulers abused concentration. Its law defined balance as the removal of extreme outcomes. A defensive solution built from fear. Lin Yuan looked toward the 7 regional lights. They did not need to defeat the Warden. They needed to prove that imbalance could correct itself without erasing choice. Hold the network, he told the others. Han Lai placed one hand on his lion. Mei Xue linked with her phoenix. Qiao Ming and Ren Tao reinforced the broken conduits. Master Gu anchored the chamber. Inspector Luo maintained the 7 seals. Director Shen stood at the authority console without taking control back. Lin Yuan and Mochi entered the Warden's measure. The world vanished. They stood within a field of branching golden paths, some bright, some weak, some ending quickly. The Warden appeared among them. Every step flattened possibilities into equal lines. No one rose. No one fell. No one chose. Lin Yuan showed at the silverback hare. A team spent supplies and risked failure. The hare survived. Later it gave a herb that completed their mission. Unequal choices created mutual benefit. The Warden flattened the memory. Random variance. He showed Mistwood Valley. 4 students combined different strengths. Fortune mattered only because preparation gave it direction. The Warden flattened the result. Localized distortion. He showed the provincial relay. Azura could have abandoned Ironwood. They stayed. Both teams reached the gate. The Warden paused. Cooperative correction. Lin Yuan showed Hollow Ridge. Stolen fortune returned through a network of freed guardian beasts. No single bearer held it. The Warden's step slowed. Distributed restoration. He showed the chamber around them. 7 regions making different decisions. Some would make mistakes. Others would learn from them. Fortune resonance allowed useful outcomes to spread without forcing identical actions. The Warden examined the paths. They remained unequal, but the concentration no longer increased. Failures did not isolate themselves. Successes did not remain hoarded. Possibility moved through relationships. The measure changed. Not balance through sameness. Balance through circulation. The Warden stopped. Its white gaze shifted toward Mochi. Ancient recognition passed between them. Guardian of Fortune. Mochi did not bow. It walked forward and touched one paw to the Warden's armored foot. A small golden thread emerged. The Warden possessed no luck. Only purpose. Mochi returned something else. A possibility the ancient creators had denied it. The possibility to stand down. The Warden's armor cracked. Not from damage. From release. Light escaped through the seams. Correction unnecessary. Monitoring revised. The Warden dissolved into 7 white fragments. Each entered one regional road. Not rulers. Not weapons. Witnesses. The mountain became still. Lin Yuan returned to the chamber with Mochi in his arms. The kitten's body had changed again. It remained small. Its torn ear remained. Golden lines now formed 7 faint paths along its fur. Its bond felt wider, reaching toward distant points without losing the connection between them. Second evolution. No Academy crystal announced it. No examiner classified it. Everyone in the chamber understood. Mochi had not become stronger by collecting more fortune. It had become capable of sharing responsibility. Zhou Kan remained trapped inside the scale. Most of his stolen fortune was gone. Without it, the damage to his body became visible. He looked older, smaller, certain of nothing. Master Gu approached. This time, you stand trial. Zhou Kan looked toward Lin Yuan. You had the chance to command all of it. Yes, and you gave it away. No. Lin Yuan looked toward the 7 roads. I returned the choice. The beast hunter laughed once, then lost consciousness. Director Shen ordered the restraint collars removed from every office guardian beast. Some bonds recovered immediately. Others did not. Years of controlled suppression had consequences. She did not ask forgiveness. She surrendered authority. Inspector Luo arrested her inside the same chamber she had commanded. Before leaving, she stopped beside Lin Yuan. You believe distributed choice will remain fair? No. Then one day, another crisis will come. Yes, and people may ask for control again. Lin Yuan held Mochi closer. Then we'll need to answer again. The provincial investigation lasted through the rest of winter. The Office of Provincial Balance was dissolved. Its records were open to Academy representatives, city guardians, and independent inspectors. The Authority Archive became a shared system requiring multiple regional seals. Emergency power could no longer be activated by stored signatures alone. The beast hunters lost access to protected routes. Several cells surrendered. Others disappeared into neighboring territories. Zhou Kan survived to face trial. His testimony exposed officials, collectors, and private guilds involved in guardian beast trafficking. Director Shen admitted every order she had issued. Some citizens called her a traitor. Others argued her fears had been justified. The council did not erase either view. For once, the province kept the complete record. Azure Guardian Academy's sanctions ended. Heating crystals arrived after the coldest weeks had passed. Students returned gradually. Some apologized. Others avoided Lin Yuan. Public opinion changed more slowly than law. Mochi remained both admired and feared. Lin Yuan accepted that trust rebuilt through experience, not announcement. The academy established a new provincial program, the Seven Road Accord. Each academy and frontier district would maintain its own guardian resources, while sharing verified threats, medical discoveries, and route conditions through the restored network. Fortune residents supported the system, but did not control it. Mochi could strengthen an existing exchange when present. The roads themselves carried only information, unless every regional authority agreed to more. No central throne. No hidden office. No single bearer responsible for the entire province. The first test came when late snow damaged Riverstone's flood barriers. Azure sent engineering plans. Ironwood sent reinforcement ore. Mist sent aerial scouts. White River released stored construction crystals. No one ordered the response. Each region chose to participate. The barrier held. Mochi slept through most of the operation. Lin Yuan considered that an improvement. When spring approached, the team returned to the old academy tree. The snow had begun melting around its roots. Han Lai carried a new combat bracket. Mei Shuai carried revised training schedules. Qiao Ming carried food. Ren Tao had traveled from Ironwood with provincial relay reports and claimed the visit was official. Mochi inspected every bag. Lin Yuan caught it halfway inside the food basket. You now connect 7 regions. The kitten held a fish cake in its mouth. That does not make this yours. Mochi turned toward the crimson flame lion. The lion looked away. Han Li pointed at his guardian. Don't involve us. The frost phoenix lifted one wing, revealing a second stolen fish cake hidden beneath it. Mai Shui stared. Xiao Ming began laughing. Even Ren Tao failed to remain serious. Lin Yuan divided the food before the guardian beasts organized a larger theft. The group ate beneath the tree, while the restored road network carried distant reports through the academy. A missing caravan found. A sick guardian responding to treatment. A mountain pass reopened. Small successes. None guaranteed. Each one creating another possibility. Master Gu watched from the garden path. Head instructor Zhao joined him. The council wants Lin Yuan appointed as provincial fortune warden. Master Gu's expression did not change. What did he say? He refused the title. Good. He proposed fortune guide instead. Master Gu looked toward the boy beneath the tree. Less dangerous. Still too important. Every title becomes dangerous when people stop questioning it. Head instructor Zhao handed him a restored archive page. The final missing lines had emerged after the warden's measure changed. The guardian of fortune shall not carry the world. The bearer shall not decide destiny. Their purpose is to keep roads open when fear would close them. Master Gu folded the page. Then the old record was not a warning about the guardian. It was a warning for everyone around it. At the edge of the province, one of the warden's 7 white fragments awakened inside an abandoned watchtower. It observed a group of villagers repairing a road without official instruction. The result remained imperfect. One section collapsed and had to be rebuilt. The fragment did not intervene. It recorded correction through choice. Farther north, another fragment watched a merchant attempt to hoard medicine. Local healers exposed him through the shared network. The imbalance ended before growing. The fragment remained still. The warden had not vanished. Its purpose had changed. It no longer erased distortion at the first sign of inequality. It watched whether living beings allowed possibility to circulate. The difference was fragile. It depended on repeated choices. Lin Yuan understood that better than anyone. His victory at Balanced Crown had not solved human fear. It had not ended greed. It had not made authority harmless. It had only prevented one system from turning those weaknesses into permanent control. The next challenge would not look identical. That was why rules mattered. That was why records mattered. That was why Mochi's power could never become an excuse to stop thinking. He opened his notebook beneath the tree. The first rule remained. Do not steal what you do not understand. The second. Fortune does not obey assumptions. The third. A prepared person uses fortune. A reckless person demands rescue. New rules filled the pages after them. Never accumulate what should circulate. Never accept coercion because it promises safety. Never let one successful choice become unquestionable authority. He added another. Responsibility shared is not responsibility reduced. It is responsibility made survivable. Mochi climbed onto the notebook. Lin Yuan moved it aside. The kitten returned. He moved it again. Mochi placed both paws on the page and refused to move. Han Li looked over. Maybe it disagrees. With which part? All the rioting. Qiao Ming offered Mochi a fish cake. The kitten left immediately. Lin Yuan closed the notebook. Beyond the academy walls, spring sunlight reached the upper roads. Golden lines briefly shimmered beneath distant stones. Not summoning, not warning. Open paths waiting for those willing to travel them. Lin Yuan looked toward his friends. The weakest student from Awakening Day no longer stood alone. Han Li had learned that power without restraint became weakness. Ma Shu had learned that control could guide without deciding everything. Qiao Ming had turned reliability into the center of the team. Ren Tao had learned that strength included admitting when victory belonged to others. Mochi had learned that fortune became greatest when it did not remain in one pair of paws. And Lin Yuan had learned the true weight of fate. It was not the burden of controlling every outcome. It was the burden of preserving choice even when certainty seemed kinder. The academy bell rang. Ma Shu stood first, training. Han Li looked toward the food. We just sat down. You arrived late. That should reduce the session. It increases it. Qiao Ming packed the remaining food. Ren Tao claimed Ironwood schedules were more reasonable. No one believed him. Lin Yuan lifted Mochi onto his shoulder. The kitten settled beside his neck, warm and light despite the history it carried. They walked toward the eastern field together. Far below, 7 roads glowed. Far beyond the province, other sealed paths began responding. The Warden's awakening had reached places no provincial map contained. Old powers noticed. Forgotten guardians stirred. People who had spent generations searching for the lost network finally saw its light. The struggle over fortune had not ended. It had only grown larger. Lin Yuan did not know what waited beyond the provincial boundary. He knew what he would carry toward it. Not certainty, not command. A team? A set of rules? And a tiny stray cat that had once been dismissed as worthless. Mochi opened one golden eye as they crossed the training field. A spring breeze moved through the academy. Somewhere ahead, an unsecured practice banner came loose. It drifted downward. Han Li stepped aside. Ma Shu caught one corner. Qiao Ming caught the other. The banner stretched between them before touching the ground. Mochi's eye closed again. Lin Yuan smiled. Perhaps the kitten had influenced it. Perhaps it had not. The difference no longer mattered as much as it once had. They had been ready.